Yo, what's going on, everybody? And by everybody, I mean the two people here right now. Let me get my shit pulled up here and we'll get going on tonight. What up, Mo? Where's my stuff? There we go. Let me get this race pulled up. We'll touch. All right, we got an hour and 37 until the wagering closes. All right, that's pretty good. So we'll have enough time. I should have Mr. B, owner manager of Secretariat Stables, coming up, shoot the shit for a little bit. And then I might have good guy Stens on afterwards. When Mr. B comes up, we're going to talk about the horse that he purchased today. Also, shout out Peebs and Mo, that fucking stream earlier. Mo, I really hope you got some hot tea in front of you, some lemon, maybe a little bit of whiskey. I can't imagine. I feel like my man's Peebs was drawing you out a little bit too long there on some of those, just making you work extra. But hopefully you get back to close to 100% in time for the first race. I didn't see the second one fill. I thought there was a second handicap that was popping off after this one filled. I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. Bad Crockett, what's up? Crockett, what's up? Captain Eagle, what's happening? Yeah, he was hitting with that auction, going crazy out there bird calling during the auction calls. Also, chat, do me a favor. It's getting fucking hot in my room. I don't have a fan. Let me know if this is actually just too loud. please. I mean, that's probably loud enough, but I'm gonna try and talk over it. But if it's like covering up me talking, then we have a problem. But it is fucking hot, hotter than the devil's taint in my room right now. So we'll see what we can do with it. But yeah, definitely shout out to Pubes. Fucking Pubes. My bad, homie. Oh shit. I had a sip of coffee about an hour ago. There was some fun guys in my coffee, so we're just chillaxing. A 3-hour stream ahead. I'm just gonna mosey on into it. My bad. It's gonna happen again. 100%. It's gonna happen again. I'm gonna lose my shit on stream. But shout out to Peeves for organizing the first auction for photo finish. First crop foals and second crop foals. I don't know how many second crops sold, but I know we have a few. I think a total of 8 horses out of the 16 sold, but I have 5 pulled up because this is the only 5 I could get from the Discord without the links breaking. The other ones were like marketplace links, so no bueno there. But yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about handicapping and weight distribution for the upcoming season because I don't 10 out of 18. Perfect. Yeah, my bad. Do you understand? This is that East Coast American English. When I see Peeves, we used to call people pubes to insult them. So you know what I mean? Like, it's just there. But yeah, so 10 out of 18 sold. I have 5 pulled up. Mr. B has 1, but JJ bought the Opus Foal. I have that pulled up. I'm missing a couple. So listen. Meatloaf said 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I mean, we got 50% pulled up on screen, so I think that's pretty okay. I don't think Meatloaf would be pissed off. But also, is this fucking air conditioner shooting me out, or is it too loud, chat? You gotta work with me here. Please let me know, because I want it to be clear coming through. Because once I get rolling, I can talk over top of it. But yeah, we're gonna talk about handicaps since the races of interest the past couple of weeks have been handicap races on the After Dark series. And we're going to talk about Henry John Rue, the creator, the actual creator of the handicap system, well, one of the handicap systems, Weight for Age. He is the creator of the Weight for Age handicap system. And what that is if you're an old, because handicap, again, I said this before, and maybe a lot of people, tag along with this, but handicap races IRL in the United States are meant for older horses that can't compete with allowance horses, that can't compete in top level claiming, who are just like lower end, mid-level claimers. But the handicap races allow them a fair surface to run on. But what the Weight for Age is, upcoming, I'm going to bring Mr. B on. I'm going to keep spewing. What's up, Mr. B? I'm going to keep spewing here real quick before I lose my train of thought. But Weight for Age is basically what we're coming up to in a couple weeks. We're going to have 2-year-olds running against 6-year-olds, potentially. So that's a perfect example of Weight for Age, where if that is the case and we have to do that, and that's going to be the thing, 2-year-olds are going to have a significant advantage in the weight. But also, I don't know how it's going to pan out. And I really don't honestly want to see how it pans out. But I think we're going to have to see that for a couple seasons until I said the other night, until crop 1 or crop 2 foals retire and those foals are on the track. Then we can have our straight 2-year-olds only, 3-year-olds only, 3-year-olds and up, 4-year-olds and up, 4, 5, 6-year-old. Then handicap races actually matter because then the 4, 5, 6-year-olds have somewhere to go. But we're going to touch on that in between here and there. Mr. B, I don't know if I got the horse that you purchased up, but let me see if we do here. It was none of these, right? No. Can you send me the link to that horse if you have it?
Not off the top of my head. It's an S.
I tried to get it. If someone in chat can post it, Pete. I tried to get it out of the Discord, but it was one of those marketplace links, and
I can probably, if it's still in the marketplace, I can find it. But I'm having
Yeah, I don't have Mr. B on for long, but I got him on for a little, and that's really all that matters. I saw you in there bidding on a couple of horses, but then you ended up getting the one I guess you really wanted.
Honestly, the most interesting one is the one that the last one, the one that the JJ bought.
The Opus.
The one I bought is just kind of a solid. I mean, it's an S, so I can help boost. I have a lot of RTF horses, so it can help me boost some of the lower ones up. But it's an Indian Wells, which was an S with an S minus filly that created an S with 5.5 boost. So I mean, it's not like a world beater piece. Nothing to compete with Stenz's horses or even Monkey Tennis's, but it's probably worth it for me just because I have so many RTF fillies that I can use it to boost up. The horse that the JJ bought, I don't really know what to make of this horse. I mean, it got a really bad roll. These are like two of the best LTS horses, non one of ones out there. So two S minuses, and the way these work, at least the way I remember it being explained back when Paul was explaining it, was that if you're going to get, when you have these kind of horses with the matches like that, this is for match maxis, you're more likely to get a really good roll or a really bad roll, and this just happened to have a really bad one where you had two S minuses that came up with an A plus. It's got 8 preferences, and I don't know how to analyze this. Is this like the movie Twins where you have Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito, and this is the Danny DeVito character? But does it still have the blood in it that this would actually still be a really good breeder because it has the genes of the two great horses, or does it have all the crappy genes that these two ones have?
This horse probably competes pretty well at A plus. I mean, and that's what we're going to talk about later, because like we're starting to get into the guts now. Like, we only got a couple weeks until we're fucking running, and then after that, it's only a few more weeks until we're running again, and then we're running constantly. So I want to see something like maybe a small announcement about scheduling potentially, but yeah, like this horse seems like it'll be like an A plus. Like, I imagine it has to be good. Like, it has to be good for racing purposes. And then if it ends up being good, it has to have some value in the stud barn if it turns out to just be like, it's not the S minus that it could have been like from them, but like it's a baller ass A plus that can run and that has great genes. Like, I mean, I think sometimes, and I've noticed this a lot now, but like I think we put too much weight in the letter grade potentially. Even though it does show, like, I mean, it's really the only thing we have to look at, you know what I mean? But, like, sometimes maybe it's too much that we put into it, but I feel like this horse will have a solid career. But it could also just be egg on his face and just be like a fucking $35,000 claimer, you know? Which I guess putting up there is fine, but for the number I think they paid for, this is going to be a meaningful piece.
Yeah, it was an interesting gamble, and it also could be one of those where it just had a really bad wick in one of the attributes, and it might have like 4 S minuses out there, and you might have like one of them is like an A. If you ever look at the breeding report, sometimes they have the box and whiskers, and they tell you there's the gray box in the center of it, and sometimes the whiskers go out pretty far, and this one might have just gotten like a really bad roll on one of the attributes, and that's what brought it down. I don't know. I really would be fascinated in a couple of seasons when this one's retired to see what this looks like. In terms of the attributes.
I wish the JJ was around. He's probably watching The Bachelor. I'd like him to give me his words, but I'll find out another day from that. But yeah, I mean that looks like he has plans for it. Imagine.
He's probably got to figure out an excuse to tell Mrs. the JJ that he just spent another $750 on a horse.
That's all right. Listen, they don't have to know everything, right? How was
I think he tells her everything.
How was Saratoga this past weekend?
It was not a great weekend of horse racing. I mean, there
was some stuff that happened, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, there was that breakdown of the horse right at the finish line on Saturday. There was rain on Friday, and they basically said, okay, we're going to hold everyone in the paddock right before the 8th or ninth race. And then the rain stopped, and then they said, okay, we're canceling the rest of the card. And we were like, what the fuck? So the guess was that maybe the turf wasn't in the greatest condition. So then on Saturday, they took like 3 or 4 races off the turf, except for the stakes races. Then obviously, the tragedy with that horse, Bill Parcells' own horse, breaking down right before the finish line. Then there's this horse, Cody's Wish, which is this feel-good story about this terminally ill kid, and
that story is fucking great. And
10 in a row, of course, that horse loses. Then on Sunday, like another horse breaks down, and then 2/3 of the way through the card, like 2 or 3 races into the pick 6, they decide they're going to take the races on the turf off the turf. So 3 of the 4 remaining races in the pick 6 were on the turf. They took them off. They basically had to put them on the main track. They had to take the pick 6 and say, okay, for these 3 races, you have all. So the pick 6 turned into a pick 3. And then, when you have a race that goes off the turf that late, even the main track only horses don't draw in because it's too late.
If it happens on race day, that's it. Because everyone's already had their medication and stuff. You can't give medication that late into the day. Like, it's just listen, man, I've been at the races where it was sunny and they had 3 turf races up, and second race, a torrential downpour for 30, 40 minutes. And by the time they got, they didn't take them off until the 6th race, and I think it was 7, 8, 9 or 7, 8, and that's them the breaks. You know what I mean? Like, they're saving their turf course because it's not going to get all fucking chopped up because it's all muddy and sloppy, and one 8-horse field could just tear that shit up for a season. And I think they're also like considering the horses too. Again, it gets muddy, so if you get your leg in deep and you can't get it out, that's in the breaks. You know what I mean? It sucks to think about it. It sucks to say it, but like, it happens. But from the gambling point of view, it's a fucking curveball and it sucks for most part.
Instead of having a 10 or 12 horse field, you're down on, usually there's a bunch of scratches. You have 5 or 6 horses, 3 of which can't run on the dirt. The other ones you just you have no clue, and it just doesn't make for great gambling. So
it definitely throws a curveball in it, but also like if you're on a weekend trip, it kind of sucks ass too. But
I mean, the weather was beautiful on Friday, on Saturday and Sunday, so that part was good. But really, when you see like what happened on Saturday, it just kind of destroys the whole weekend. There's just no getting over that. I mean, that was
people hardly bat an eye when like a running back like pulls their hamstring, or like basketball player like tears a meniscus or something. But like when it comes to horse racing, it's like under the microscope constantly. I mean, it sucks, dude. It's animals. I get it. It really does suck. But the shit that happens in the middle, like, even taking a bad step, like it happens. Like you can take a bad step going on the steps and break your kneecap. Like it just sucks when it comes to animals.
Well, I mean, horses in particular, obviously they can't, LeBron breaks his leg, he's going to be okay.
Yeah, depending on where the break is,
The horse, I mean, when she fell and she got up and you saw her take that first step after she got up, and you just like, oh God, there was no chance that horse was not going to be put
rough.
down.
But the Cody Wish one's a good story too. If anyone ever gets a chance, go ahead on YouTube and just listen to Larry Coleman's call his races. Larry puts his entire heart and soul into those races. He loves it. But yeah, that story's great. Listen, man. With the bad comes the good. With the good comes the bad. It just sucks all in general. But that's why we deal with digital horses. You know what I mean? We can pay a nice little small fee to Daddy Ian, and he makes our horses feel better. Yeah.
One more reason for no injuries in the digital horse racing.
Perfect.
We don't need that to be as real as it gets.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Blue Elder ended up coming out with one Full Cinnamon Delight. I forgot what this one went for, but this was a nice one. This is a recent purchase from Lacey or Valkyrie Racing. She now has her own in-house stud, which is good for her.
Yeah. Lacey's taking over the game.
Yeah, she's not fucking around. Listen, man, I know her from the other game, and when she got her first, like, I think she got when she got her Z1 or her Z2 or whatever it was, like, she was serious business. So it's good to see her bring that same enthusiasm with her. She's good people, always good for.
Yep.
She's great for the game,
Yes.
which is you can't, there's a lot of people in this community that are great for the game, but Lacey is definitely one that is like,
Yeah.
I'm not going to go as far as, I mean, I'll go as far. She's basically, she might be the Mother Teresa of photo finish live. That's just me saying, she might be. But yeah, this looks like it'll be a solid runner. I don't know if he has any plans for breeding, but it looks like it'll be a runner on paper.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I don't even know that it really fits Blue Elder's stable, but I mean, it's certainly a decent purchase. There's nothing wrong with that. But I thought he was mostly, RDF. So this is an LTS piece. I already have. I mean, I like it, but I already have a 9925 S horse, so I can't really do anything with this. I could breed it with my 9924, but if you're just looking to kind of get into LTS, you can't really go wrong with an S- filly with 7 preferences. So it's definitely a nice starting piece.
He has 3 LDS pieces.
LDS
and 1 male piece, 9 pref. So he's split. He's on both sides.
I just know his best pieces were
RDF, yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
He has Ace King, so that's really all that matters. God, I can't wait for 3 weeks. I can't wait to run my Ace King full, and then I can't wait to run the Serenity Now full after that. A month after that, game's starting to get there. He's starting to get the jitters. Yeah, his stable is Jesus Christ. He doesn't. These big stables, like.
Some of these guys, they have incredible discipline. I can't help myself. I'll just buy horses. These guys are like only top of the line stuff. None of this. I just see a good value at an A+ or an A horse. I'm like, I'll buy this. I'll buy that.
I did it the other day. I bought my first horse like since live. Like I bought a shitty little foal, a little A horse. Hold on, where's it at? I didn't message Stens because I didn't need his input on peasant horses, so I messaged my good pal JJ. I bought this horse for $5,000. It's like $4K less than what the stud fee was, and I was like, whatever. I'll take a shitty. She's like almost max pref B+ mare. 2, 4, and 14, 17, 21. So she's 21 and a half boost B+ mare. Hit with Trotsky, who's just whatever. It's an S-, but like at work, I paid $5,000 for it.
Yeah, Trotsky's an interesting horse. There,
I paid $5,000 for this horse, and I said to him, at worst, I put this horse in a $5,000 claimer.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do when I buy some of these A+ horses. I'm like, Ghost and Stens like to clean out their inventory. They just don't want them, and I get it. It's probably just not even worth the hassle. But when I see like an A+, with good preferences at like 7,500 or whatever, I'm like, all right, I'll just buy it. I have no idea what I'm going to do with it.
I got a $60 discount on this horse. They paid $9,600 for stud fee, and I paid $5K for it.
Yep,
that's value. I like seeing that. I'll take a shot on that. I know it's nothing. It's a cheap, shitty little horse. But for $5,000, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Good guy Stens in the background. He can come enjoy the peasantry talk. Please, no foul talking about the lower level stables, please. Thank you.
I heard Mr. B and you were taking advice from JJ on buying horses, so I definitely had to step in at that point.
No, you would have told me to take my money and throw it in the air, and if it comes back, you win. That's what you would have told me to do.
No, I'm not 74.
It's a shitty little A horse with a 21 and a half boost mom, an S- pops with some boost. And at worst, I put in a 5K claimer, someone buys it, and I get my money back.
The Trotsky one's good. There's really not that much for Colts at RTS at S- or higher that are unique at all. So I don't mind that one that much.
There was two of them. There was this one and there was another one. There was an A. It was an A minus and an A plus that made an A. But it was 5K also, but like someone ended up buying that one, so I was like, that's better because I think this one was the better of the two anyway. But whatever, we'll find out in 2 seasons. Yeah, I'll see what happens then.
I do worry about the crop 2 foals. Like, I'm willing to go on record and say I would rather have a crop 3 foal than a crop 2 foal. Crop 3s don't even exist yet. Because I just worry on how aging is going to work out. And if aging doesn't work out, maybe they'll be quick to turn it off again. But if you look at what we're faced with, we're going to have 2-year-olds race against 6-year-olds.
Touch on that.
You ask a real horse person, we don't know how that's going to play out for sure. Probably the 6-year-old would probably win at that point. But we also have daily aging. It's not you're 2 years old for a full season, then you're 3-year-olds for a full season. So in the latter 2 weeks of the first season, does a 2.5-year-old start to beat the 6-year-old? We don't know, but I'm willing to explore that more than I am crop 2, which is going to be when we have 3-year-olds versus 2-year-olds. And I just don't understand a situation where a 3-year-old wouldn't like curb stomp a 2-year-old. So in that sense, unless we have like curbs in the racing marketplace, I don't know how, or the racing schedule, how that 2-year-old is going to be something that's going to be competitive early.
Here's your answer to that. Like I touched on it earlier right before Mr. B got on. It's going to have to be, if they don't have it figured out, then they're going to have to move to weight for age scale. And like you said, is a 2-year-old going to get stronger second week into the season? That's basically how they have this built. It's a sliding scale. But we shouldn't be using this. I'm just saying we shouldn't be using this. But if we're not going to segment the 2-year-olds from the 6-year-olds, then we have to figure out the weights. Like there has to be. They have to have it figured out.
There's 2 things to that. We don't have enough horses to segregate the 2-year-olds from the 6-year-old.
Yes.
We don't have enough horses to segregate the 2-year-olds from the 3-year-olds when we get there. So then, yeah, weight for age, probably realistic. But then the problem becomes the daily aging. So if your 2-year-old's going to carry 3 less pounds than a 3-year-old, let's say 4 less pounds, easy math. Do they take 1 pound off of that every week then? So when you're 2 years old and 0 days, you carry 4 less pounds than a 3-year-old. But a week later, you only carry 3 less pounds than a 3-year-old. And a week later, you only carry 2 less pounds than a 3-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, if we're going to have real daily aging, it's going to be tricky to make them competitive.
100%. Like we talked about it the other day in Discord. Like it's not going to like until our crop 1 and crop 2 mares are coming off and breeding, and then that's another 2 seasons we have to wait. Like that's when that's when we can fully support age restriction races. Like it's going to be tough until then because we have. Where is it at? Here I had the numbers. Like in certain archetypes, there's not going to be races that pop off. So they have to figure out what they're going to do because these are our numbers for crop 1.
Well, and you look at that, like, so we've talked about it before, so I won't beat a dead horse. And I get there's segmented into Colts versus Fillies here. But if you looked at, let's say, LTS, at A-, there's 9 horses between both genders. Yet our current race schedule is built to favor A-s because they're the best in the allowances, and they also have A- restricted races. Compare and contrast that with A+ LTS, you have 50. You know what we have? We have 1 A+ restricted race like every 5 days, and A+s get stomped in allowance races. So it doesn't mean the schedule's final. Does not mean the schedule's final, but like as it stands, you're going to have all the A- races or allowance races canceled because there's not enough A- for them, and they'll run in the grade restricted races if they can, and A+ won't be competitive. So I mean, I think it's not shitting on the team. I think it's just a real tough thing to balance, and the schedule seems to be built based on the population we had for Gen 0, but the population we have for crop 1 and crop 2 is nothing like the population we had for Gen 0. Part of that was because Mr. B ruined racing and ruined breeding and made all these S- that shouldn't have otherwise existed. They were too cheap.
Well,
Mr. B, you tell me one and I'll kick him, all right? You tell me one.
If you'll notice today's auction, you did see some 99-25 offspring that were sold, and I don't think they were actually from Serenity Now. I think they were from Zerat. So the market is what the market is. I don't fight it.
Mr. B is the market. That's what he just said. I am.
I mean, Soulmates makes a valid point here too. He's saying it's 4 niches, not 8. So he's saying left turf soft and left turf firm run together. But the problem is when you add those together, you still don't change anything. At A+, then you have 57, and at A-, you have 11 horses. So that works when you're talking about left dirt because there's plenty of left dirt on both sides. And it works when you're talking about right turf. But that argument doesn't hold water when you use an RDF and RDS as well as LTF and LTS, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah. So I mean, to go to your point about the weights and how you do, I don't see how they'd be able to implement it. They haven't been able to kind of even segregate weights, to smaller, half pounds or quarter pounds. Everything's a 1 pound thing. So the notion that they'll be able to get this in place for the, season 6 or season 7 is just very, very unlikely that they'll do that. I don't know whether they're going to have segregated 2-year-old racing. I don't know whether in real life, there's no way a 2-year-old is going to beat a 6-year-old.
No, they don't. Okay? They don't. Those races aren't even considered. Like a 2-year-old might train in the morning with a 6-year-old just for like maturing purposes. Like this is how you like. That's just part of the training. Like when you get 2-year-olds to the track, you technically don't put them with older horses to train in the morning because in the jungle, I'm bigger than you. I'll fucking bully you around. Like they'll bully them around while they're training. So they try not to do that, but further on into the year, they'll start training the 2-year-olds with the older horses to try and mature them a little more. But Fib did say he's available to come up here, but I feel like if I bring him up here, we're just gonna like fucking hammer him with all this shit, and he's gonna get scared and run away. But I don't want to do that. Like
Fib trains in MMA. He's not running from anybody. Even if I was 7'4", as Gooch thought.
Well, yeah, I don't think Fib's the one who's.
I think they have. I don't know. I'd like to see 2-year-old only, and then those. I mean, we're just going to be in the same rotation technically for a couple seasons, but I got to see something. I know he was talking about. He hinted about starter allowances again, but like a starter allowance isn't meant for 2-year-olds because 2-year-olds haven't run in claiming races yet. That's what starter allowances are built for. They're built for horses that are running claiming races. So I would hope that there is something in place. Like on Foals Day week 1, crop 1, we sat here and I said, all right, I got 2 months to figure it out. Said it again, crop 2. So now we're halfway through. Like I hope I wake up this week, or we all wake up this week, and there's an announcement on the schedule for the 2-year-old season. And then
I mean, I think, and I would love to hear Fib's thoughts on it. So if he's offering to come up, like let's have him. But
I'll ask him.
I want the team to get ahead of communications. So we changed the stimulus on the day before stimulus was going to take effect. Like age is a real consideration for everybody right now, and we're trying to figure out what we're supposed to do. And I'm saying I personally am not comfortable with the crop 2 foals because what it seems like they're going to be up against on an age standpoint. So I think the onus is on the team to communicate what their expectations are for age. So they should put out a blog like they have with other subjects and say the peak age for an average thoroughbred is 4.4 years old. Within Photo Finish Live, the range of peak ages is 3.7 years old to 5.2 years old. And the range of curves, because the degree to the curve is also all function in this as well, is this as well. Because my fear is we're going to get into when we can race these crop 1 foals, someone fairly new is going to lose a race that they didn't feel like they should have lost the race. And we're going to say, well, that's aging as real as it gets. And I think we're doing a disservice by not educating them on what expectations for aging could be. I don't need to know definitive peak age of my horse. It doesn't need to be in the race reports. It doesn't need to be in the breeding reports. But I do need to know what's theoretically possible.
All right, I messaged Tib. We'll see if he wants to come up.
Yeah, I mean, going to that point, we don't in the previous iterations, the betas, the 2-year-olds usually came on and they were good right from the get-go. There wasn't really the kind of thing where 2-year-olds were going to improve dramatically from 2 to 3 like in real horse racing. And I don't know what it's going to be like in live. And now is for the 2-year-olds, I can't even remember what's going on with the aging for the 2 and 3-year-olds with the generation 1 horses. They have aging turned on from the start.
These first Gen 1, both Crop 1 and Crop 2 will have aging turned on, is our understanding.
So
is injury turned on after that also? Because there was no injury for Gen 0.
Injury after age 4 or something like that. It's
starting
not for
at
the
age
first
4,
couple of
maybe,
years.
if I remember that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's going to be, I mean, forget, you're going to have, so it would really be nice to know, like, if 2-year-olds are coming on like they were in the betas, and they're not a cut below 3-year-olds, then any horse that's like 6 or older, any of the Gen Zeros are basically done on day 1 there. If that's the case. Now, if 2-year-olds are not up to speed, and that there's an aging curve there, and they're actually not as good as a 3-year-old, then the 6-year-old should still have another year, another season to race and actually do well. But
then where do you race the 6-year-old and where do you race the 2-year-old in that example?
Well, the 6-year-olds are racing claimers.
Claimers, handicaps, and shitty allowances until then, until they rotate out in 2 seasons.
But yeah, I agree with you. It's not an easy solution, but it would be nice to know, like, hey, these 2-year-olds are, not going to be as good. If you look at the fleet figures from when we went live, the 2-year-old fleet figures, I don't want to get going on fleet figures again, but they were better or just as good as 2-year-olds as they were as 3-year-olds. So the fleet figures certainly didn't show any semblance of aging at all. Like the 2-year-olds came on and they were just good from the start. So yeah, I just don't know how it's going to play out. And to touch on what you said, good guy, it would be nice if they had a blog on this point to kind of give us, fill us in, rather than, and I'm just afraid it's going to be one of those things we're going to get a blog post on, Sunday night, August 27th, telling us how season 6 is going to go. And it would be nice to get it, maybe a couple of weeks before then.
The over-under's got to be noon on the August 25th, right?
No, Ian will do it late Friday night, so I would probably put it more like 10, 11 o'clock.
You can't get timeouts on this stream, so you're just going at it. I love it.
Look, I don't think
it does a disservice. If the OGs don't have any real expectations for what aging is going to be, how are the new people that you're trying to attract to the game, that you're trying to get to be invested in the game? The OGs aren't going anywhere. We're not selling our stuff, but the new people might be like, well, what the hell was this?
I just want to know what I'm breeding for. That's my main, like, what am I breeding for? What am I racing towards? Like, it's 2 separate games, but one game can't work without the other. So, like, I just want to know why am I, instead of me going from, taking my A- to an S or an S- and breeding, like, because obviously at this point you're just trying to spew out the best horse that can run. But like, that may not be the case if they're going to introduce, like, the racing series, or like for 2-year-olds, like Solman had mentioned, like, is a 2-year-old going to run in the Derby? The 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds are running in the Derbies right now. So like, I would hope that they make like a 2-year-old series. So then you have something, to race towards the end of the series. You have that one big 2-year-old race right before the last, week before they turn 3. And then 3-year-olds, obviously you have the Derby. And then after that, you gotta make it. I mean, I know you don't have the rights for the Breeders' Cup, but like, make your own. Fucking the Fib Cup, or something. Just don't steal
Mr.
any
B's
of my
been
names.
front running
Ask
the
me,
Breeders'
give
Cup
me credit.
for 2 seasons now. He wants to have all of his colts have the highest earning progeny.
It'll be on the stream. Will be on YouTube, so just mark where you're at. Minute number 41. There'll be 2 more hours of this, but yeah, it'll be on YouTube if you want.
That's an inside. That's an inside joke. I was not thrilled. He asked me twice to lower a price on a foal, bought it from me, and listed it for like 2 hours later, for 50% more. So this is a public service announcement. If you ask me to lower a price of a foal and I do it, and you buy it, and you sell it before you race it, I'll never sell you another foal that you don't buy for list price. Promise.
That doesn't sound very good guy like, but also
It's fair.
Don't do stuff like that, you know. Don't waste people's time, you know. But yeah, I'd like to know what we're running towards. I'd like to know what we're breeding for, because
are you saying that
moment in sense we're trying to pump out the best.
Maybe we should call it like usually good guy stens.
Sometimes good guy, perhaps good guy.
Mostly, occasionally
Sometimes good guy.
Occasionally good guy stens.
Every once in a while, good guy.
Rumor has it he was once a good guy stens.
I like that one.
That's a long acronym at that point. It's longer than AirEgg.
But yeah, I gotta find. Well, I just had the JJ horse. I want to
hear.
Well, I joined because I thought this was the roast of a JJ. I thought that's what we were talking about.
That's I have to let him know what he can, what to look for. What are your thoughts on this? Because me and Mr. B already gave ours.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you have to say on this one, Stens.
I mean, I think it's probably worth more than it went for if it's a filly, but I think it's worth a lot less than it went for with it's a colt. Because even if it like stomps A+ races, we just talked about how the schedule as it's currently designed does not have a place for A1 horses to begin with. And Blood Moon, because it was priced so cheaply, actually has a lot out in the ecosystem, including we have a half dozen, most of which actually ended up being fillies too. So it would be different if this was like a Morningwood breed where like Morningwood only has like 7-8 total offspring over 2 seasons, and you got a colt, and you would still have 1 of 7 Morningwood colts in that case. But yeah, it's not worth the risk for me. I would rather, like, oh my God, Commission's going to eat this up. But I would rather just breed with like Primetime for $150K than buy this foal for $60K. I mean, you got to have an asset to use with Primetime, but the gamble on the upside is better than something that seems to be a knowing outside of the range of outcomes to the negative.
So this one, so we looked at this one on Foals Day to the last review.
Yeah, and I was shocked when it happened.
They touched it up. Blood Moon Opus did it season 1. They got the filly with the S-, and then the full 9 pref, and then the colt with the 8 pref and A+ instead of S-.
And I agree, like it's going to be a killer racer for things that would gatekeep you by A+ being a positive. So that's A+ restricted races. And that's allowances where A+ is only have to carry 4 more pounds than an A-, but we don't have that many of those. And LTS is like the one that's kind of weird. RDS as well, but LTS doesn't have that many pieces because all the fillies were lower graded. So in that sense, like there's maybe some minor breeding appeal to this because all the fillies would be lower in grade to begin with. So do A- fillies and B+ fillies and B fillies, do they breed with this? Like, it's possible. It's going to be hard for it to be a bad purchase for $60K, in my opinion. But I think you could spend your $60K a lot more effectively. Or if you want to gamble that it's some like outlier thing, gamble where you don't know the outcome. Like, do you want to buy a Mega Millions ticket from Mr. B for a drawing an hour after it happened? Or do you want to buy the one an hour before it happened?
What are the odds? They get better or worse?
Well, Mr. B is pretty lucky, so he'd probably actually win the whole damn thing. But
so going back to this though, like I I thought this would be an interesting piece for my stable. I had already bought the other RTF stud, so I didn't really feel like spending more money. But I do have a fair number of kind of lower graded LTS pieces, and I have Serenity now, and I also have Hello Newman. So I have a 9924 and a 9925S, and I could kind of boost up right away. But if I have like a B plus filly, and I have a handful like that, it wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing to kind of initially breed with this one and then boost up with the from now maybe an A plus or an A, rather than just breeding strictly from like a B or a B plus. So I thought it was an interesting piece, not compelling enough that I was going to be like, okay, I have to buy it. And what do you make of the genes on a horse like this when you get a bad roll like that? Does it still have the positive genes from both of the parents, or is it kind of just this bastard child that's like got crap?
I think what we're seeing with the breeding reports is that it takes that breeding event as an isolated event. So it's not necessarily like, hey, you did bad last time, so we're going to give you the Mario Kart speed up the second time. So I don't think it's necessarily that. No, I think a lot of people would prescribe to the theory that your breeding outcome is all the sum of all the parts in your breeding picture. So once you fill out that great grandparents chart, so one further generation down the road, you're still pulling stuff or potentially pulling stuff from all four of those. So in that case, I guess it could be a sort of Mario Kart speed up. But I think it was an improperly calculated gamble. And I love JJ as much as anybody else does, so I have no problem saying that on stream. I know he'll see it. I know he knows that I believe it already. So I think there's better places to take a risk. I mean, the good side would have been if this was a filly, to Soulmate's point, like you could have used all of the one-of-ones, even at an A+, like it wouldn't have been unreasonable to expect an S full. If this was an A+ filly and you use it with Serenity now to get an S full out of that, and then you're right back to where you should have been. But this relies upon being a great racer in a racing ecosystem that currently doesn't value A+s, Colts in particular. And can't breed up because it's a colt. So I think it's a little tricky. I see Blue Elder in the chat saying go Pack go. We can go to the Packers game if you'd like, Tom. I have tickets.
Are you a season ticket for the Purple People Eaters?
I have before. I don't now because, as you can assume, based on my average behavior, like that kind of ruins your Monday as well. And to ruin, call it 10 Mondays is not.
Well, they got PTO.
Well, it is.
We'll call personal time off for anything,
I think the problem with the Pack game for Tom's benefit is not just because it's on a holiday, but the Packers will clearly be eliminated by then.
It's crazy. He's not
Gooch,
wrong.
Gooch likes the Lions. Yeah, so does Vegas as well. You're not not encouraged by Kirk Cousins after his quarterback cameo.
Dude, he's such a 50-50 quarterback. He's always 50-50 on the negative side too. Like,
I think the defense is going to be a lot better this year.
The game, but that's his job, is to win the game. But like, he also loses a lot of games. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and the primetime Kirk thing is super overrated as well. Gooch, if you want to book a bet on stream, I'll take the Vikings to win the division at the money line at either Bovada, DraftKings, or FanDuel. You tell me the line, you show me the line, you tell me the amount.
Jesus Christ. What is this? Don't you have your own stream you can hook bets on, for crying out loud?
I'm trying to get you content.
That's
content.
You just hooked the bet. I got 2% of that. You don't like, you still understand how the 2% thing works, do you?
Stens is a little bit of too much of a Minnesota homer.
Well, yeah.
I remember in the Discord way back when he was telling me how great the Gobert trade was. So, he just
who played Denver the toughest in the playoffs last season? It was the Timberwolves, even better than the NBA Finals.
Okay, and what does that get you?
Well, it gets you a first round exit. That's like the Minnesota way, is to not make it past the first round of anything.
Well, usually it's more painful though, right? A missed field goal or something.
Yeah,
Look, I'm a Jet
yeah.
fan, so I don't even want to talk
Dude,
about it.
I mean, that's fine.
Jets and Mets, and I see you retired the Mets hat after they traded
Well, I
Verlander
figured I'd go with my
and
new, I'd go with
Scherzer.
some rec guy, my rec guy cap
He
today.
went out and got a custom hat made. That's nice.
Oh, that's probably merch for owning 30 wrecked guys, which is worth like more than both of us have combined.
That's
yeah,
nice.
no, I do have a lot of rec guys, but
I mean,
not
it's
30.
not. You're not derailing. It's just gonna get derailed because it's football season. But I'm always down to talk football. But yeah,
So,
before we jump back to horse,
any purchases
What-
you particularly liked?
On the stream, I thought there was a couple. And I gave Pete feedback, and you know me, I don't sugarcoat feedback ever. I thought, and I'll come back to your question, I promise, but I thought we need to have the starting price cannot be less than 80% of the floor for what it is. So if it's an A+ colt at crop 1 or A+ colt at crop 2, you take what the floor is, times it by 0.8, and that's your starting price. And the reserve price cannot be less than, or cannot be more than the floor for that same object. Because I told Pete this, I don't think Eddie's Opus 1 foal that JJ bought, I don't think it sells for $60,000 if that starts at like $30,000. But you know what's kind of, in my opinion, worse from a content standpoint is one bid wins a horse, or there's no bids on a horse. Like it's tough from a content standpoint. So like, in my opinion, the horse at Eddie auction is probably just not a great fit for the auction itself, because it takes a sophisticated buyer to understand what the horse is and why it would maybe have a value proposition that's 2x or probably 4x what the A+ colt floor was for crop 2. That's a crop 2 one, not even crop 1. So that was where it struggled. So as far as good buys, I liked yours. I heard you talk about it a little bit when I was walking around the block. Like, what we don't know is if breeding Gen 0 filly with a Gen 1 or Gen 0 colt is going to be optimal. And we also don't know if breeding a Gen 1 filly with a Gen 0 or Gen 1 colt is going to be optimal. So if you give yourself options because you don't in-house have a Gen 0 S colt at RTF, that's more of a question. I'm not sure the answer to that.
I don't.
But so for the investment, like, yeah, that's kind of a no-brainer for you. It's no different than our Roland Garros buy the other day. Is like, yeah, I can pay this off in a month of using it. So,
By the way, I had mentioned this, on the chat, but Mo did a really good job. I mean, he really
absolutely
did a great job as an auctioneer, and I do think this was the first time, in that format. So your comments are reasonable, but for a first go around, it was really good. And Mo, he's a good race caller, but he's even better auctioneer. He really does a good job.
I think the two things I would add there, and one I told Peeve, and I'm guessing Mo's still in the chat, is I think in this format, and it was a bigger success than I thought it was going to be, because I just didn't think we would have the viewers, and there was like 50 viewers, which is a great turnout for any of these streams. And I didn't know that we would have the caliber of horses or the caliber of the bidders that you would want. It's always tough to find an alignment, right? That's why a marketplace exists. But I thought for sure going forward, Mo needs to have like the executive decision. Like, he needs to have a hammer, because when it's in Discord and Peeb is typing, then like when something's being counted down, even if he teases from time to time, like, and I get that's maybe an uncomfortable thing for Mo to do, but you have to have it where you listen to Mo, you don't read what's going on in chat other than if you're being outbid, and he can count down on a fairly normal cadence. I thought that was another thing that could have been improved as well, as sometimes we waited forever from going once to going twice, and sometimes it was going once, going twice, sold. So I thought those were things to improve upon. And then the other thing is, like, things I just love to see is, as Mo knows these stables better, like, goad people. Like, and I know he did it a little bit, but like, once you know that Mr. B is a sucker for a value, and if he bids and he gets bid by 500 Derby or 1,000 Derby, like quote Mr. B how much Derby he made farming last season and say like, really, it's not worth that much more to you? Like that's the type of stuff that can make it a lot of fun. And as we build out personalities and stable personas as well.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would have changed was just the bid times on some of them. I felt like I said it earlier at the beginning of the stream. I said I felt like Mo was just like on repeat for a little bit too long. Some of those you knew, like if you weren't getting a bid in the first 30 seconds, you likely aren't getting a bid. Just fucking, we'll wrap it up and get to the next one. But
yeah, Latuda, he let us know.
Wow.
He let us know that. Mr. B bet on a horse he'd already previously sold.
Oh, you did. That's right. I forgot about that. And you almost won it too. That's the crazy part. Jeez.
I don't think it hit the reserve on that one.
No, it was a couple dollars short, but value, man. Sometimes you gotta look for that value.
I didn't want it, but I thought that was funny since it was my horse. I was like, all right, I'll bid on it.
I mean, I think it went well. I think you can't look at the outcomes of 8 not selling and some awkward airtime and say like it's not going to work. I think if anything, it's encouraged me to say like maybe I'll put a horse or two up next time myself. And it's nice to have horses at different price points as well, which I thought we had some of that, but it would also be nice if you had like a really nice piece up for auction as well. And if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell. But at least it's something that people can talk about it if it happens. And we had that kind of with the Opus 1 but that's still, at the end of the day, that's still an A+ colt. So.
Yeah,
I'm trying to remember. There was someone who said they bought their first horse. I'm trying to remember which one that was.
Oh, shit, what's their name? Avic?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember which horse. I thought that was a solid first horse to get.
Let me see if they're on here.
He bet a lot too. He was betting on like all of them too. So
it was a
if
filly.
anyone knows which horse that was in chat, feel free to post.
Gooch is saying $30K for a filly. I don't know if it's hit the wire yet or not. But
yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
no, and Gooch is saying save some of our colts for auction. Like I just would like to know that I can trust that buyers will show up enough, and then I would put up good pieces. Like. Because I think there is something to be said for people competing against each other and bidding in an auction where they otherwise wouldn't have an opportunity at a piece. Like if we put up a filly that would get you hung up on, if you ask me about every other day of the week, like I think that can make for a pretty fun auction experience. But I need to know that there's 5 people showing up to bid on it.
Once we see these foals start to hit the track, and once we see like what horses are producing, what stallions are producing, I feel like the auctions will be a little bit more like sought after for the most part. Like if Serenity Now is just throwing out fucking winners from crop 1 and crop 2, well, you can only imagine crop 3 has to have some winners, right? Like they look at that in IRL too. Like the hottest.
Where does the law of averages come in this?
I mean, sure. Like if whoever the hottest stallion is for that, if it's your rookie season and your rookie season, that stallion is going to sell more foals than it will ever sell, like in its career, most likely, just because it's like we'll take for come off with the Triple Crown win, you put it in. That's what they want. They want that. They're going to wait until they drop the price on it. Like, but that's going to be the hottest stallion of the season. He's got to wait 2-3 years to get into the track, but once they see that they produce. The next crop of foals, they're going to be targeted in the auction. People do that all the time. And people, a stallion that's not producing, they're going to avoid those, and you'll be able to get some small value. They're not going to be great horses, but like you'll be able to get one that can run. But the ones that are massively producing, like stakes winners and stuff, I feel like we're going to see those at auction, those offspring from that said stallion just be sought after. Like if Serenity Now is just fucking pumping out winners, people are gonna want Serenity Now, and they're gonna want that blood. Like they're gonna want it in their stable, so they're gonna go after it. Or Saturn, or whatever absolute horsepower has going on over there, whatever A+ they're putting in the stud barn.
Yeah, I was just going to shout out Peeb because he's saying for the 16th time he's going to bed, which marks the 69th time that he said he's going to go to bed within an hour. So we'll give you a keyword in the chat, Peeb, in an hour's time. If you can tell us what the keyword in the chat is tomorrow, you win a prize. We don't know what the prize is. I kind of agree. And again, shout out to you for organizing this. We talked before this even started that I was worried about legitimate buyers showing up, caliber of horses that would be offered up. So it did exceed all of my expectations. And I know for you, it's more of a proof of concept thing and something you hope the team adds eventually. And if the team doesn't add in the near term, to your point of offering a rebate or some sort of participation that would benefit users is, I think, a great suggestion.
You should just buy the idea from them, even though it's like I said the other day, if we can log on to ESPN and do auction drafts on site, then I don't see a reason why we can't have an auction once a month, like on the actual site. Or Mo's just
there's like
the site stream doing the fucking auctioneering and shit for like 2 or 3 hours or whatever it may be.
And there are online Calcutta sites if you ever get into like a Calcutta pool or you need an auctioneer, like the website does it for you. Like there's ways to do it in a more simplistic setting, but like I said, I do appreciate the personal nature of it. Of everybody kind of knows everybody right now, and it's kind of fun to make fun of people too.
So going back to the first purchase, it's Foal of Vanguard. There should be one for 30,000.
That was the A plus that was from an S minus and A plus, right?
Right.
I did think that was a savvy one. Yes.
So it's a non-one of one, so we can breed with the one of ones and move up. It's going to be a solid A plus because it's an A plus mare and an S minus. So it's got decent preferences, and it was at 30K. So if I was like starting a stable and I wanted a filly, I mean, you couldn't really do better than that. I just thought
for an A plus, that's not even bad. That seems relatively cheap because, like, I mean, we looked at it last week. Like, what was it? Hold on, let me just look at it.
That was maybe the best buy. I do remember that one, and that was when I was like contemplating whether or not I was gonna try to become an approved buyer or not midstream.
I was looking at it, and then I saw he was like it was like his first horse, and I was like, I'm not gonna outbid him. So
you have limits to how much you're willing to ruin the game, is what you're saying.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Yeah, like there's some shitty A pluses for 25, 28.
No, but like the value is what Mr. B is saying is that it's
for 30,
those A pluses are probably like S minuses mixed with A minuses. Like this one should have been an S minus in all likelihood, and it wasn't.
I mean, if it's an S minus, it doesn't go for 30. Just quoting stems,
Right, but it's a strong A plus, in other words, and it's non-one of one. So
that's probably the best part, honestly. Like being able to take this whenever you're retired and just go smash a nice one is like a nice one of one from there on out. Like it's gotta be kind of nice.
There was one negative, I think, if I remember. It's probably got your favorite $49.99 blood in its dens. So that's the one.
But that doesn't matter that much on the Philly side. Like, no, we do know that the one Monkey Tennis just bought is a $49.99, which I can't use. Now this piece can't use as well. But I don't worry about siblings on the Philly side at all.
No, I mean, I'm saying it would be better if it wasn't. It certainly, like I said, it's a very good purchase, and it's a great purchase to start your stable with. So I'm actually happy for what's the name? Advent or Arvent? Avic. I'm Not Stable is the name of his stable, and if you click on it, it literally is the only horse in it. So great start.
That's not a Mr. B or Bye Bye Birdie burner stable.
No,
sure. It's got the red and white silks. How am I supposed to know?
I mean, to be fair, the stable that I run for my friend also has the red and white silk. So
I think that's the default silks.
Yeah, it just means
you don't change it.
You're too lazy to change it at all.
I don't have a good logo to put on our silks because we don't have a joint like stable. It's just Doughboy Tish.
Is this where you shout out Trot On for having the best silks in the game, or no? Can we pull it up on stream, or are you going to get banned?
I'm not doing it. No, because I would be considered a snitch, and I'm not a fucking snitch, Stans. I don't do that. I don't snitch over here. Got my ass beat if I snitched. No, I'm not going to. But there is someone in the community doing a nice silks evaluation. The top 12, I believe it is. Tomorrow is 9 through, or maybe tomorrow's 6 through 5. I don't know how they're doing. I think they're doing 4 a day or 3 a day or something. But yeah, be on
Well,
the
6
lookout
through
for
5
that.
is not a real count.
Latuda Stables? Is it Latuda? It might be Latuda. I don't know.
Is that? I wanted to know who was doing it. I didn't know if Trout-On was like a legit person that was.
I'm surprised it's not you because you're the one that's so opinionated with all the fucking silks.
Wow.
These silks. Look, King Moose. Now that's some silks, but you're gonna complain about.
I don't mind that at all. I don't mind. No, that at least doesn't have like a white background on the logo. Like that's legit.
God, there's no pleasing you.
Looks like a ugly Christmas sweater, which is the perfect thing to go for in this context.
Well, that's fair. You wanna try and handicap this race?
We can. I don't know if we'll pick
It's
a winner because it's
race.
handicap.
It's a left turf fast, and there's a ton of right turf and left turf soft, and it's
What's the
definitely
distance? I missed the distance. And what's the weather?
10 furlongs fast.
Fast. Yeah.
It's definitely one to before I looked at the track.
Now the JJ's here.
Is
Golden Bachelor's over. Yeah, Golden Bachelor's over. Tell him to get up on stream. Coward makes a bad purchase and he doesn't know.
Because I got to go in a couple of minutes, so he can replace me.
There is no
Come
replacement.
face the music.
Well, I don't have the balloon arches or anything like that though. So, and I can't give you any rundown of the Bachelor. So you'd need for JJ just for the Bachelor update.
I won't do Bachelor updates on this stream. Fuck that. There's 2 co-favorites at 5-1. The left turf soft B+, the right turf soft or right turf firm. So
I entered a right turf firm in this one.
Oh, you're in this one. Oh, let me look at it. It's hard because it's fast. So we know that the LDF horses don't like this distance because it's 10 furlongs. So it's probably left to left turf soft versus right turf firm. But let me pull it up myself.
Yeah, there is no like true standout. Like that's the thing.
Well, and the grades sort off. So if the lowest grade in this is a B, then
Also,
you're carrying some.
majority
B
of the
minus. There's a B minus in here.
Yes, the majority of the horses that you think would be good when you open them up, they're off distance preference. Most of them are sprinters, and this is going 10. So
I just don't understand how they do the weights in the handicaps. It just never makes any sense to me. So it's almost like it's
this needs to get changed. This info in a handicap race, horses of different classes. It's not different classes. I mean, I guess it's different classes because we have the A's, but it's like it's strength of schedule. Like if your horse is a constant winner, you're gonna carry more weight than a horse that only has 2 lifetime wins. Like it's just how they make it fair. But again, now we're in the area of where it matters because like handicap races are meant for older horses. We're at 6-year-olds or we're 5-year-olds right now, so like technically we're there. But if if we have to go in the next month and we have to run our 2-year-olds in these races, like I'm not gonna be thrilled about that. Like I'm gonna be kind of salty. But also for me, like a smaller stable, like I don't have a lot of darts to throw, so like maybe it's whatever. But I also want to, that's the reason I want to know what I'm breeding towards. Also, like I'm going to approach the game differently than say you or Stens, because you guys came in and bought your archetypes. You knew what you were doing from the start.
I don't.
Knowing what you're doing from the start is an over exaggeration. I think even for everybody, like when we bred,
buying different archetypes since the last couple.
No, I know, but when we bred 14 horses, and 9 of them were S's, and 2 were like S minuses. We have less S's than that when we went live. Like we diversified and kind of traded down and some stuff. And yeah, we got more volume, but to say anybody knew what they were doing when we got into breeding is a bit of an over exaggeration as well.
Yeah,
fair enough.
You had to take guesses. I mean, there was for like a year, there was a debate between the matches versus the 1-on-1s. So, it was not clear like what to do. You had to kind of guess which way you were going to go there. Stens and I think primarily went towards the 1-on-1s with our best, fillies, but it wasn't clear that was necessarily the way you should go.
I'm gonna use the restroom real quick.
Now, what's interesting here about the weights on this, though, is I don't run in enough handicaps, but is it like in this case, the A's are carrying 3 pounds more than the A minuses? Are the handicaps always that way, where there's 3 pounds between the A and the A minus? When you're running the allowance races, it makes a big difference whether you're giving 2 or 3 pounds. So
where are you seeing that? Where are you seeing the 3 pound difference?
You click on the horses. The A's are 125, and I found an A minus. It's at 122. So all the A's are 125. All the A minuses are 122 here. The B pluses are 120.
The B minus is 116. That's the bottom. Yeah, you can tell how much I run in handicaps as well. Then I haven't run more than 3 handicaps since we went live.
So the B is 117. So the B minus only gets 1 pound from the B. So the B minus, unless it's a super horse,
probably a bit of a cross off. It is good at 12 furlongs. I looked at it. I was going to tout it, and now you told me the weight. I was missing the weight piece of this.
I think the winner's Egghead. I think. I liked Hanzo until I realized that it's not like on dirt or not on turf, but I still might bet Hanzo for like a show bet. Just because everything's off preference for the most part. I don't know what you guys were talking about before I got back, but the JJ's here. He can defend his buy while we try to handicap this fucking 16 horse race.
Did I already get eviscerated for that buy? I need the backstory.
I didn't let Stan much. It was mainly Mr. P.
Hold on, we might back the gray here in gate 2. Gundabad. Let me
guess
check.
See, I was looking at Gundabad also. But
I like the weight. I like the weight, and I like that
super smart manager of that stable. Makes really good buys.
Gundabad is my pick to win. Definitely Gundabad's my pick to win. But speaking of Dabad, you bought an A+ Colt tonight, the JJ. Care to talk about it?
Yeah. So I think that I did some digging with the beta file last night before I knew this horse was even going to be up for sale because I don't know, something that happened in the main Discord. So I opened up the beta breeding and kind of started digging for horses that overall grade wouldn't have been what you expected based on all the individual grades. And I found examples where there were like A horses, like an A overall grade, which would have like an S and 2 A+ stats, right? But rolled like A- elsewhere. So basically betting that this horse hit like one bad wick, dropped it to an A+, but is going to have good stats elsewhere, and it's just going to mop up racing at A+ restricted racing. Pay for itself just from racing because it's going to be like an A, and it's going to be going against other like bad A- that hit Zerath for 4K Derby, right? Like those.
What's Zerath got to do with this? Are you taking shots at Lacey now, or what?
No, I'm just saying the people that the foals that's racing against are going to have even a wider range of stats, where this one is probably more dialed. And I think it pays back itself in depending on how long I race it. I think if I want to race it more than one season, I think it would pay itself back in Derby. And then I have a few fillies that I'll just hit with it and move them up with instead of going straight to an S for free. And there's really not a way I lose money on this horse.
Veronica Vaughn.
And I just own something. And I just own something that Stens doesn't have. So like that's worth at least like 30K right there. Like Stens has zero Opus Blood in absolute horsepower. What are you even fucking doing over there?
That was the talk in the
Bush League stable for sure.
Like, you have a solid A+ racer, and if it ends up being a solid plus racer, then you have an A+ stallion for your barn, like that you should be able to sell covers on if it's a solid.
All right. So let's.
But also, you have blood there.
Stens inbred with this sire twice on purpose for $400. for $400. Yet I'm the dumb one who's like, let's take a
Because you're not
chance on,
spend, you
let's
dummy.
take a chance on the overall grade.
I love that you're putting this into context. Yeah, because I agree with all the statements you're making right now.
Right. I mean, so you spent $400 to get 2 inbred horses from this,
Yeah.
which we
Yeah.
also have no idea how they're going to work, right? So we just both took chances on a bloodline.
Yeah, but I took chances knowing that I didn't know the outcome. So that was my point when you weren't on stream is, yeah, I don't disagree that this is going to be a grade A+ racer. The problem is we have an A+ grade restricted race like once out of every 5 days now.
So the team addressed that today, by the way.
Oh,
They
I didn't
said
see
that-
it.
So they said that is due the way that their schedule now is working is it literally looks for like at horse population and there's just nothing left racing that's A+, so they don't make A+ only races, for example. But when all
I
these
would
full
guess I would
finishes-
say I'm skeptical of that because it feels like the A+ are the ones that are crushing claimers right now. But
They are.
you would
A+
know better than I do.
Destroying claimers.
it might not have been at LTS, but they were bringing it up for one of the archetypes.
Just asking questions. Just asking questions.
You have A+.
No, I think it's going to be a great racer. I guess the point I made, in all seriousness, is could you not have used 60K or even 100K to make a bigger swing that you didn't know the outcome of? So, like, if you had a good A+ LTS filly and you bred with, let's say Blood Moon was like 50K Derby to breed with, like, to me that's a better swing because you don't know the outcome, you don't know the gender, you don't know the grade, you don't know any of that. Where like this is like, I think you're ceiling limited based on you hope it's going to be a great racer for whatever races run, and you know that you'll be able to use it internally, so therefore you're not going to lose money on it. I agree with that. Like, I just think this is such a low ceiling play. Like, this is like the Cleveland Indians, like betting the Cleveland Indians before the year. Like, could they win the division? Yes. Are they going to win a playoff game? No. Like,
I believe
this,
they're the
this is the Cleveland Indians.
Guardians now, right?
Yeah. Come on, Stan.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking,
Can't say that anymore.
Fucking
I
banned
felt
from YouTube,
super
please.
targeted and probably also had a little bit more. Just kidding.
I think I disagree with you on one point. I don't think that the ceiling is necessarily clear on this horse. I do think the fact of the
It's not
matches and all this stuff, this horse could still actually be an above average breeder, even if it is just an A+. So I
Yeah.
just don't know what to make
So-
of it. I think there is some upside with something like this just because it's
So my question, so we know that there's not a lot of start in LTS, right? That was kind of there was no sprinters at LTS, right?
Very,
Starter
very
speed, it's both of them. Yeah, it has stamina,
So
finishing
if this
hard.
horse went to A+ because it rolled some just stupid speed number, right? The upside is instantly back because it's not actually an A+ because you don't care that it rolled A- speed or start because it still has S stam and finish or something, right? So
Yeah, I'm not disputing it's going to be a great racer. I just don't.
but I think it does still have upside. We won't know until I hit the retire button, but
Right.
How is no one betting on Gundabad here? Like, ship it, Doughboy.
because you trashed
500
people
Derby,
on stream.
500 Derby on Gundabad.
I'm putting my fucking my bet in, and then
Someone did. Now it's up to 760. But I mean, it should be higher than that.
all right.
I
I'm
should
gonna
have
go,
the
gentlemen.
best
It was
race.
a pleasure being on
See ya.
your stream.
Mr. B,
Doughboy.
thanks for coming and hanging out.
Always nice to hang out with the JJ and usually good guy Stens. So
Fucking normally good guy Stens is slipping a little bit. I think it's
Yeah,
probably
well.
because he started his own stream. Now he doesn't need me anymore. So
competition, yeah.
that's my okay guy Stens.
All right, take care, guys.
Take it easy, Mr. B. Yeah, I like Gundabad, but I don't like Gundabad in this race. I don't know. Like, I feel like I should have went back and looked because last week we had an 81-1 win the first one and 41-1 came back and scooped the second one.
Yeah, I mean, with it being firm and him only being 2 turf, I
It's
think
a really,
he's probably not as live as he would have been if it was sloppy, obviously. So
yeah. We got 20 minutes to get some wagers in, but I like Egghead. I'll probably end up getting crushed, but I do like.
I think an A is tough in this race with a B- in the
Listen,
race.
I mean, we can hope for the podium. I get a little bit back. I like
What
Honda.
was Turf Toe Joe? He's a B plus RTF. It'd be about the right distance. What's his weight?
Who's that? Gundabad?
Turf Toe Joe, gate 5.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
How much
guessing.
weight is he carrying?
120.
That's 4 pounds more than the B minus. I don't know. That's probably too much.
More
Maybe.
than Gundabad. Yeah, probably gate 9 is probably the
Oh, there's
fade.
some nice fucking silks too. Trusting him, Stens. You know who him is?
I don't like the background. You know, get a transparent logo that you can put on silks. Come
Don't
on.
worry about him.
Come on.
Yeah, that's something I
Shut-
haven't done yet. Very lazy. The
Shout out to Mo Knows, who actually has some of the cleanest silks in the game. And yeah, Mr.
Yeah,
B
but-
is a man. Is he the man? That is debatable. But,
So we're
he's
not
here
going to get. I
defend
think
himself.
everyone's learned their lesson from last week. We're not letting any 80 to 1s get by. There's nothing over 25 to 1 in this race. So money is
Which in a
spread out.
handicap makes sense. So yeah,
Yeah.
like it should be. Everybody's got an odds-on chance. That doesn't end up being the truth, but
Yeah, 100%.
there's no A pluses in there either, right? So yeah,
There's
most
one.
horses probably are live.
There's one A plus.
That's a really good horse
It-
too. I don't know that it's
good, but
this distance and it being dirt.
the problem is the sprinters.
Yeah, it's sprinter.
It's a
There's a lot of
sprinter.
horses in this here that look good, but they're sprinters. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's one a handicap carrying 6 pounds, but also that was 4 furlongs. So
Yeah, if we
I
really
don't
want
think
to
any of
do
the-
alpha, both of my other goldenrod tickets won handicaps today, so we're going for the trifecta with Gundabad.
oh, Jesus.
Goldenrod's just print money. I mean, claim that horse for 5K. It's claim.
I forgot you did dip into you were having fun with claimers.
Yeah, dude, I won
Oh,
$58.
Jesus Christ, you farmed with this horse.
Yeah, that
Claimed
horse
it
has
for
made me like
5K,
$200
24?
since I've made like $200 with this horse since I claimed it for 5K.
Wow, you might be a sharp. Maybe we
So
do
you're
have to bet
basically
some-
break even after the Opus 1 buy.
Yeah, dude, I have so much derby. It just I don't even know what to do with it.
He's fucking.
You
yeah,
you
well,
actually do, and
From these
gotta
golden
we don't have.
from these goldenrods.
I have like 15,000 Derby in our stable right now. That's embarrassing. Not
See, that's why
USDC, like 15,000.
That's good. That's why Pete wouldn't let you be accredited.
Chat, who you laying
You're a
the
fake
wages
shark.
down on? Since these guys are lunatics and have no idea what they're talking about, picking a B to win this race.
The two, Gundabad.
This is not financial advice. I put my bet in. I'm in on Egghead. I do not expect anyone else to lay that bet. But this is this race is probably more wide open than the 81 to 1 winning last race. Because I feel like everyone's stuck to it. They're not gonna let that happen again. They're not gonna let the odds go that high.
We canceled one of the claimers, or one of the
what
claimers.
the
The
fuck?
125K one claim canceled.
Yeah, Berserker. Yeah, I need to go look at that. The Berserker. What's going on, bud?
Yeah.
Gotta see,
Oh, the team must have put 200. Team must have put 200 Derby on each horse there. Yeah, that's a fun kind of race there. But right there, Naysayer might be good enough there. That is curated genetics.
Where we
Big
going
Brain's
for
got a
third
pretty solid
class?
A plus as well.
Jesus, that's a nice A plus.
Yeah, I think the 2 might be the favorite there. Now, if this is left, it wouldn't have a chance. But basically, max preference A plus, running 10 furlongs, probably not that big of an issue.
Yeah, it's not really. It's definitely carrying 4 or 5 pounds, and it's still making the podium, winning the races here and there. On preference, probably for distance. Probably looking at So Naysayer is 1. I mean, Berserker. That's the old plow horse. Scuba Ringer. I don't know shit about that.
It'll
one,
hit the
but-
board. It'll hit the board, but it's not going to win, I don't think.
What, Berserker? You don't think Berserker wins this race?
No, too long, and it's right there. Like Original Flame, I just pulled up. That actually runs really well at this distance. And this is too long for Berserker for sure. Pulling up
Yeah.
Naysayer. Naysayer, all these horses prefer like 9 to 10 furlongs. Yeah, Berserker might get third. He might even get fourth. Scuba Ringer is obviously from Scuba, which would prefer 10, 11, 12. So
Jesus Christ.
We'll see.
Flame's a nice one, too. Yeah, like, oh, yeah. Original Flame might be live in this race. I don't know if it maxes out.
that and Naysayer look good too. Honestly, like it's not going to be unheard of if an A+ wins this race.
Well, again, going back to the A+ is dominating. A+ have been dominating the 25, the 20, the 15, and the 30K claimers. So I imagine, you know, those are the majority of the horses that are getting entered in the 100K and 80K races. So A+ have a spot. It's just maybe not. Maybe we don't want to claim. Oh, someone just came in and bet on Scuba Ringer. Damn, they hammered Scuba Ringer. And by hammer,
Shout out to
to
Carter. He smelled blood in the water after an A sold for 120,000. So he listed Harry Trotter for a solid 140,000. So shout out Carter. Game got game. Game respects game. I like it. It is actually a really nice horse. I wanted it, and I made sure I didn't outbid you on it, but I probably should have just bought it.
Sometimes good guy stands. Huh, interesting. So, are we on dirt? And we are fast, right? Dirt fast.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the A pluses might be the two favorites because
they're
they
evenly
have
matched. Even in morning line odds perspective, they're evenly matched. Interesting.
That'd be a fun race. It's definitely a 4-horse race. I wouldn't be surprised if any of the 4 won.
I'm gonna go with Original Flame in this one. We'll see what happens. All right, let's go. Now we got some Spumonies coming in. We got some Spumonies filing in. We got an hour until this one goes off. Probably another 10, 15 minutes until wagering closes on the first handicap. I think I covered a lot of the topics I wanted to talk about. We touched on, you know, the ecosystem a bunch, basically every stream we're on, because it's just an unanswered question that we kind of need an answer to. The JJ, you said they made a comment earlier, but a blog post would be nice. I do agree that a blog post would be nice instead of just like a random chit chat in Discord general. But that's, you know, whatever. It is what it is. Let me put my wager in on this race. So what's your plan of Veronica Vaughn then? Next season, are you just going to run back the same combination you've been doing with JJ? You're not even there?
You should have made sure, he wasn't being scolded by Mrs. for JJ.
The stream was on in the background. He's cooked. All right, well, I'm putting.
Well, he's got a logo that says RV in it, so I'm not sure if like he's now he dropped. Yeah, he's like living in an RV or what he's trying to advertise.
That's just the cover up. All right, so yeah, get your wagers in on the claiming race. I'm surprised this one filled. I'm actually kind of glad it filled and fired too. What's the crown?
Well, it'd be nice.
$30.
Yeah, it'd have been nice because we have 6 horses here, and there was 2 in the 125K claimer. It would have been nice if the A- and the A in this race would have entered the other race instead, then they both would have went off, actually. But
I mean, it's tough. Not everyone has that bankroll sitting around. Not everyone's up there.
Well, I'm saying that those 2 horses are probably more live in a 125K claimer as opposed to 150.
Sure. Not everyone looks at it that way, but that's why we're here to point that shit
out. The other one wasn't right dirt firm, so that's a part of it as well.
Egghead, and I got Hanzo for show. I need a good and a bad bet for show. I like that one. Jesus Christ. I need my stimulus package to come for the end of the month already. I'm going to be broke after this. Naysayer, Degen Race After Dark, got the recent horse sales. Full opus. All right. Well, now it's... I wish Fib would have got back to me. I should have messaged him earlier in the day. He's probably taking a little nap ski. I would have loved to have him on here while we were all spewing about the negativity. Positive reinforcement.
I hope most people can see through the words I use and realize that sometimes it's tongue in cheek. But
we're you of all people, everyone should know about Sten, the immortal Stens, the sometimes good guy Stens. But Fib, RB, my man's is back. But Fib, that's your man. Fib, I always hear Fib saying where's Sten's at when we need him. So it would have been nice to have him up here. You all right, buddy? You back?
Yeah, my headphones were messing up.
No
My
one
headphones.
has
You
ever
mean you got your
needed
headphones
me
knocked off your head for buying a
in
horse
any
today?
context.
Yeah, I
That's
had to
what it
plug in
sounds
the
like.
headphones so the wife couldn't hear us spit.
All right,
That's maybe why he's not showing video. Is maybe he's got a black eye. We don't even know. Like, can we get to the bottom of this on stream? Did she beat you?
No, we're good.
Just say 1 if you need help. Say 2 if you're all right. Or do the sign. Oh shit, he's cooked. Someone call 911.
Yeah.
All right,
Shout out
who-
to Curator
who
in the
you got
chat.
involved?
Curator's got a horse in this race we were just talking about, the claiming race.
Yeah, we'll take a look at that one. It's a tough one.
This is that A+, right? I think it's a really good one.
Yeah, Gates 1 and Gates 2 are really interesting.
He beat my A- yesterday on allowance. It's a good horse.
Soul Snake smells blood in the water. He just assumes Vijay is going to compound his mistakes and claim Scuba Ringer tonight as well. So.
He just had to go after in advance.
I only claim goldenrods.
Clip goldenrods. Scuba Ringer's a nice horse, though. It's one of the few Scubas that has pretty close to the max preferences, so it is an S-. But if preferences end up really mattering, then I don't hate being an S- with more preferences as opposed to an S with less preferences, and we'll see that play out pretty much everywhere. Because we have a Ziggy S-20 at LDF, which I haven't used. I think like 3 people have used. But if you have to sacrifice preferences and preferences matter, then that'll be the next rotation eventually. Is people rotate the preferences. I personally don't know that preferences aren't dead, but I don't think they're as strong as they have been in the past for sure.
This horse just a farm. Was this horse just mainly used for farming? Scuba
Which
Ringer?
one? Soulmates is. Don't question Soulmate's racing tactics. He's
I'm not questioning. I'm asking a question. That's what I'm here for.
Beyond contestation. Old movie quote that the JJ also wouldn't have seen. No, Scuba Ringer's good. It's just, where do you race a piece like that? Because we saw right when we went live, like the S- restricted stuff had a hard time filling. And if you have a Scuba that is an S-, there aren't that many of them. So if all the LDF pieces prefer to sprint and Scuba likes to go long, like no one's racing against Scuba Ringer in a 10 furlong race. So there's just nowhere to race that horse. So, I mean, that's my concerns with the JJ purchases. The schedule's got to take care of you somehow. So
We'll ask nicely. I'll go to General and I'll ask very nicely. Say, do you know my friend VJJ, also known as RVA Racing? He asked for a friendly schedule. That's all I heard. All right, chat. Who we laying Spumoni's on in the handicap race? I know you're out there just laying them out, but I can't see who it is.
the handicap?
The handicap. That's the big one. That's the main. I mean, listen, this race is easy, but they're whoever keeps loading up on Berserker. I feel like this is your burner account doing this. They're just making every other horse's odds easier. I still think
I can't bat in Minnesota.
Oh, you can't? Oh, damn, it's a shame that they don't have those VPN things they talk about.
I think Gundabad's not the odds-on favorite, so people aren't betting enough and they aren't betting correctly. Not financial advice, but
They're all on the 8 or the 7 point blank.
I think 9 wins.
the 9.
Big Brain.
I feel like this is another one of those sprinters that you don't know about.
No, because Left Turf Soft
No.
wouldn't have sprinting capabilities, so
This
it
is
would be
not
a long
sprinter,
distance
yeah.
horse.
I'm
But
pretty
How
sure
long do you think until we see that? Some sprinting, like a solid sprint stallion for LTF.
I think it's going to be hard to. It's going to be hard to see meaningfully. I think the sprinters at LTF or LTS are going to be LDF horses. Like they're not going to be left turf horses. They're just going to be LDFs that run sprints at LT. It's going to take.
Blood.
Kamish made he took Supima, which is his really nice S- LTS filly, took Churro twice to make.
I don't know if anyone showed
horse
out left
that-
or not, but
They did, I think, but
not very high.
yeah, it's not something I wouldn't have done once, and I definitely wouldn't run it back. But
Too good, yeah.
Commissioner's
There's
Commissioner's
cheap
smarter
of
than all of us, so.
too cheap of breeds and too many options at LTS with too few better fillies. In my
But
opinion.
the other part of it is this wasn't even my own idea. Someone else came up with this one, so I can't take credit for it. But Churro is a 9924, which is like the most preeminent sire at left turf soft. So even if you thought bringing Churro in was like the right idea, you're actually blocking your one of one options above it, and people aren't probably going to breed with it because it is 9924, which there are 100 options.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you talking about?
We're talking now. We're way past if you go to Solonat Stables, he's got a horse called Supima. He bred it twice with Churro. Churro's a 9924, which is the ticket taker or ticket window one, which is very common at LTS. And instead of using other options or unique options, he chose to go with an RTS that was also 9924.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal.
That's rude. I wasn't even that mean to you. Come on. Come on.
No, I'm just saying the roles. Like they're both Colts, aren't they?
No, one of each.
I thought I must have only seen the one.
Yeah,
Okay,
But then what do you do with
Colts,
that going
that's fine.
forward? What do you do with that going forward? Like, I don't know.
It's not a racer and it's not a breeder. Yeah, the Colt's not what you wanted. He got the filly, which is what he wanted, I guess. That's maybe why he ran it back.
Yeah. Shout out to Monos. I hope you get a bigger farm when we all win on Gundabad. And then
Everyone's listening to you.
I think Weekend Moderator would have been a better breed for Supima. I think my problem is like Supima is like one of like the 5 best fillies at LTS, and I think it was wasted the first 2 seasons.
Jeez, so harsh.
Well, now that the JJ was straight up rude, I feel like I can actually step forward a little bit as well.
Fair. Accept.
I meant the outcome.
It appears that chat is riding with the JJ and Stens in this fucking handicap. The 4
What's
minutes
the
to get
betting total
your
up
bets in.
to?
4 minutes
How
to get
much
it
is-
in. I need to get some sound effects so I can have the wager bell. I can't
Oh,
wait to
you-
actually have a semi.
The
All the
total
betters-
pool,
The betters
total
are
pool is like
doing that
$150.
It's fine. I'd like to see the team also like again.
They did bat into both of these races.
No. Just like pump it more on the socials. You know what I mean? Like
Oh,
you got to put eyes on. You can't just rely on content creators to put the eyes on things. Like you got to
I
help.
just think
you
the thing about the socials is if you're reading their socials, you're in Discord as well. Like you're just
No, that's not
there's
how.
nobody
That's
that's
not, no,
coming in.
can't do
I'm
that.
telling you.
You can't do that. That's not how it works. Like, you're gonna be on social. You can't just like that was fucking Zed's problem. Like everything got posted in Discord. Nothing ever got posted on Twitter where majority of their players were. No one was in that Discord because the Discord was toxic as fuck. So never got
it was
updates
bad.
unless
It
someone
was bad.
screenshotted it.
I get what you're saying.
Posted it on
I just
Twitter.
meant. Yeah, no, I got you.
JJ.
But JJ is saying no one follows PFL or Ian on Twitter, so anybody that does already
fault
knows
that.
everything.
That's what I'm saying. Like you don't just wake up and
I
have
think
people
the
follow. you.
I just meant the people that are willing to bet probably already are in here. That's
I
all.
also still think they're trying not to push the wagering as much yet. I still think they're waiting on something, but I need
When do
content.
I find out if I won Mega Millions and can just buy
You
the
didn't
whole
win shit,
project?
bro. Nobody
Drawings
ever
at
won.
10. Well, 10 my time, 11 your
Yeah.
time. So
They
3 hours.
handpick random winners.
Same
they
type
say
of,
this is what
same
you're gonna
time as
get,
Gone to
and that's
Bad wins.
Nah, you didn't win. I'm sorry. I wish you would have, honestly, because then your purchase would have looked insanely good because you just have everything, you know?
Free
Now
money.
it's just like now you're asking for it. You're like, come on, I need this lottery, I need to get this back. Like
All right, well, let's go ahead and set the stream up for October 31st. And we'll
Foals Day or
review it.
Maiden Day, bro. I'm already there.
No,
be there
I'm
for the
talking 2 months into Opus One's illustrious like 200 or 200K Derby winnings.
Yeah, we can talk about it when it doesn't happen. I'm totally on
VPN
board with that.
the only workable thing.
Why-
For that right now.
I have like so many burning questions of like, why is JJ not on camera? Why is it hushed tones? Like, did
He
you
has a
have to
black
sleep
eye
in
and
the
he has to
doghouse? Like the literal doghouse outside?
I
Has
am
to-
laying on the couch with 2 dogs on me, so I didn't want to get up. They're sleeping.
Is the
we
bedroom
want to
locked?
believe you. We really do. I haven't heard a single dog all night, and normally it's coming from Steph.
Yeah.
It's because they're sleeping.
Yeah, sleeping. It's fine, dude. No one's pressuring you. I don't ever pressure anyone to show their face. I'm just piling on with Stens right now because it's fun.
Oh man.
1 minute to get your last rounds of bets in, then we gotta wait 10 minutes for the race to fire, and I'll have Mo up here to hopefully his fucking voice box works. I'm gonna be sick if it
Yeah.
not because we're just gonna sit here and watch him run around. I ain't saying shit.
He needs full control of the going once, going twice. 'Cause
Yeah, we did touch on that earlier. That was one of the
very,
I wanted to be
fucked
like,
up
going
of
once
Pete to
usually
make-
means you wait like a second and a half, 2 seconds. And then going twice,
Yeah.
another second and a half. But listen, it's
They're
fine.
definitely-
You know, you learn from your mistakes on
It
the
was
first
good.
time.
No, it was awesome. I just feel bad for his voice for sure.
Listen, he's a true professional. The voice means nothing. You think Bruce Buffer makes excuses?
He's like 80 years old, isn't he?
Nah, he's probably in his like early 70s,
SoCal plays poker
Ah.
with Bruce Buffer.
maybe late 80s. I don't know. My man looks. I mean, he's fit, so like he doesn't look his age.
I feel
Oh,
like I didn't-
66.
I feel like I didn't
Bruce
make
Buffer,
that.
66. Who am I thinking of? The other guy, the Let's Get Ready to Rumble guy then.
His brother,
That's not him.
Michael Buffer.
Yeah, Michael. You're thinking of the
Oh,
wrong
you're
one.
right.
Yeah, I know I'm right. All right, wagering closed. Moneyline favorite going into the gate will be Jack Welker. A late shift in the odds. Went from the 7, and someone hammered Jack last minute. So
Oh, he's from your
yeah.
town. I should have known. I should have known you would know. Philadelphia, 78 years old. Michael Buffer.
I didn't know he was from Philly. That's kind of dope. I did, however, know that they were siblings. That I did know. Mo, I'll send you the link in a few minutes. We'll get you up here, and I'll kick fucking JJ out for lying to us. You don't lie to your friends, bro. It's not cool.
What did I lie about?
Just, you have a black eye. Just say you have a black eye. It's no big deal.
Oh,
It's not a big deal, buddy. You get it back. You just put some ice on it. Or ask Sowers where you got his sweet eye patches at.
Yeah, the refractor sunshades.
Are you familiar with Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or is that part of the things that you've never watched because you don't watch things?
I've watched episodes, but I'm not
All
going to be able to recall most. Yeah.
There was a character on there who had his eye plucked out. So in later seasons, he comes back and he has an eye patch on that matches his skin color, and he just drew an eye on it. And you just do that. No big deal. It's nice. All right, let me check this other race now. The After Dark. Oh, it's still an hour. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's the one I told you I wasn't going to hang around.
Yeah,
for.
that's
I was
fine.
hoping
You don't
I'd
have to be.
run.
I'll be here for that.
That's midnight. That's the one that I won last week over Stenz's Berserker.
Berserker popped
Well,
up
why
on
don't you just
Wednesday
claim
night
it?
on Twitter
Just claim it
tomorrow.
and it could be yours. You can worry about it later.
$1,800. You got that. Fuck. No big
How
deal.
much is the claim price tonight?
150?
Alright,
Look what it's
Okay.
made in the last month. Look what it's made in the last month.
Yeah, it only has 3 more seasons of racing left. You get it back. Look at this.
Or
Farm,
sell it
baby.
to a left dirt stable that can use the Phillies. It's the same argument that you're
All right.
using for Opus One's full. No, you gotta go to the chart. The picture
Except I
chart.
get 6 seasons and you only have 2 left.
14 boost
Go to the
tests.
chart. Go to the
Come on,
chart.
take it easy. I'm trying to listen, buddy. I'm getting there. I want to see my shit. You know what I'm saying? Got to see if it's even worth like for a stable to claim. Probably not, but you're nice. Look at this. So much money. I wish
It's
we
worked
could like
out.
do this, and then it just gives you this date to this date. Another reason
Yeah,
why-
filters like the other game had a lot of sites that would have filters, and you could filter based on running on preferences versus running off
Well,
preferences or
those-
running on distance.
Those are called third-party sites, and I do not believe that those are a thing in this game. So,
Well, I mean, to be fair, it would be nice if you didn't have to go to a third-party site to do it, and everybody had a level playing field. Because the problem when you have like third-party sites is that inevitably means someone has more information than someone else, whether it's on the site or not. Like if the Gap people are looking at the information, you think that they don't have slightly more information than what's on the site.
yeah.
And I'm not saying good or bad around them, but if the team put resources into making everything that they think is part of the API on their site itself, like, yeah, kudos to them. That'd be great.
Maybe we get there. There's got to. I mean, listen.
I just want to be able to filter the marketplace better.
That,
So I
that
can find
also,
more. So I can
I
find more
also
open
just
phone
want.
calls.
I want there to be a clear cut. Like when I click here, all this dead space could easily be like. Again, I know they talked about it, but like this could just be like a clip of the racing form. The last 10 races show up. Shows that like there's a lot that could be done. But again,
Well,
like,
and it's
that's probably not that important because we're not pushing wagering just yet. So like that's fine to
I
put
know
off. The small
that
things
one
that you're talking
person-
about, the marketplace, you know, that's kind of stuff that can get, I feel like, touched up pretty easy. Not, you know, easy.
the other thing with that is like on the breeding page, I suggested this definitely before everybody else started winning majors, but like if you go to the breeding page, it looks the same as that, and it's you have all that wasted space. Like, could you not have a medal or like the same font that you see for Soul Snake and
or better
Balthazar, and say like this horse won the Kentucky Derby?
Yeah, you can
Like,
have
put
that.
a-
Or
put a
better yet,
ribbon
you
or
have the
something.
top 10 fucking studs in the stud barn or something, like the hottest, not the top 10 hot list, like who's being touched up the most, you know? There's
Balloon art.
room for all that. But like, if you're looking through here, like if a horse won a major, like right here, you can just put the fucking Kentucky Derby thing or whatever they won. Just have them stacked up like, you know, like war medals.
How much did you pay to have Apollo as the number one F right there that you see when it pops up?
He paid putting A in the name, I think.
No, because Trey Fletcher.
No, it's not alpha. It's not alphanumeric. I'm not sure. You
You're
know,
going back to Fib. You and Fib are like BFF, so he did you a favor. Thank him.
it's been a while since I've chatted with Fib, but we do have a pretty less toxic working relationship than me and anybody else on the team for sure. So shout out to Fib. He's puts up with my shtick from time to time. But yeah, I haven't talked to him in a bit.
Mo, I did send you the link then. Oh, they're perfect timing. All right, I'm going to step away and use the restroom again. If you want to chop it up with Mo until I get back. But JJ, obviously, if you don't want to talk due to your conditions, I understand as well. No big deal.
Facial injuries.
Yeah, facial injuries, cosmetic injuries. Mo, can you speak?
What's up, gentlemen?
Oh, perfect. That's all I had to hear. I'll be right back.
Going on,
Oh, he's got
Stan?
the after dark background and everything, just on point all day.
Oh yeah, we stay on brand, baby. How you doing, Stan? For the
I
RVA?
didn't feel like asking for it.
I stole it. I didn't ask for nothing.
I mean, obviously, we're worried about RVA safety, but I can speak for myself, and that I'm doing very well.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Good job earlier tonight too. I wanna give you the actual gavel. Like that is my one like takeaway that needs to happen is you have to be the person that says going once, going twice, sold.
Yeah, so I mean, a little behind the scenes because I kind of talked to Peep about it because I was like, man, I don't want to mess it up. Like, I don't want to like sell a horse preemptively or like, you know what I'm saying, close something out. So I was kind of like just in Discord, he was basically closing it out, and I was kind of just based off that. So if I started like typing in chat, I was kind of like playing off of it towards the end, but it was a good time, man. Like I said, cool. to see
The one
everybody
thing
come
that would
out
have been
and-
hard, the one thing that would have been hard for you guys to see is because the stream has some sort of delay to it. I don't know if it's 10 seconds or what it is. Like we were seeing all the typing happening before we would see what you were doing on stream. Well, I don't know how you fix that unless you find a way to delay what he's saying in Discord, I guess. That's why I think it'd be cooler if you were in charge. But that, I guess my entire point is like that could be problematic as well, because if you're on a 10-second delay and someone types something 10 seconds earlier, like, did you call it too soon? Who knows?
But yeah. We kind of got lucky, I think, with some bids. There was some bids that came in like identical of the same price. So I was like, okay, well, whoever put it in first. But then thankfully somebody
Which
came
is
in right
easier.
after and was, and they were just like, all right, you know, they beat the price. But Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some kinks to work out, but I mean, I thought that was just really fun event, man. I thought that was such a good idea.
Yeah, hopefully we can get more of them, and it gets people to pony up and put better horses in there, and it gets more people in to bid on those nicer horses. Like, there's no reason we can't have 60% of the community bidding on some of that stuff, or at least paying attention to it. So,
Yeah,
I still think once we see a couple crops of foals run and we see who the dominant stallions for breeding are, I think then we'll see more of a drive for the auctions. I think right now it's just like it's a coin flip. Like you know if it's a good horse if people are chatting it up or like bidding on it, but like the average viewer, newer player coming in, like they see like we used to do. I mean, not me, I wasn't part of them, but like people try to do that for the other game. Like they tried to have auctions and like nothing sold because they put like a ridiculous like reserve on it or something. But like also it wasn't we didn't know what we were buying because breeding 1.0 in that game was like a complete lottery ticket. Whereas we don't know, I mean I guess we kind of know in this game, but like I don't want to go out and buy a horse if I don't know. I don't want to be a JJ. I don't want to go out and buy this horse if I don't know where I can run it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was definitely my biggest gamble was the schedule, not necessarily what the horse is. I'm pretty confident the horse is good for its grade, but if they completely
even if that horse comes out to be a 3/4 decent runner and puts up the stats and all that shit, like you have a breeding piece at that point then too, because you have that. Like those are 2 good S minuses. You gotta get something from somewhere. Mo, you getting ready here, bud?
yes, sir.
All right, I'll pull you up. I'll put you on full screen. I'll mute the rest of us.
I get a special treatment around here. Like that.
Take it away. Shit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a black screen. Just kidding. Horses are at the gate. It's post time here for DJ After Dark, race 1 here on Photo Finish. Horses are online. And they're racing here in DJ After Dark, race 1. Next breaks the best of it here from the extreme outside. Then comes Dos Cientos. Mars Landing tucks in here, in for 3rd in front of Raging Cajun. 4th, 5th, that's Datamus is going to try to move some space here in front of Tony Burrito as I am struggling here to read on StreamYard. Okay, we are back as NX Racers takes the lead here in this 10 furlong left turning affair on the turf. Track is fast and racing is good here after dark. Opening quarter in 25 and change, and I can finally see the screen again. Up top, it's Nexus carrying 11 pounds, 8.68 to 1. Mars Landing there in 2nd. Now tries to battle here and tries to take the lead and does just that. Tony Burrito still stalks the pace in 3rd, followed by Point Blank. For some reason, I still want to auction off horses. In for 5th, it's Egghead now, who moves up here on the outside, and Jack Wells here is looking for racing room as this field is tight up front, ladies and gentlemen. Call them sardines, call them racing horses, but we are at it. Half mile and 50 and change, and we are about halfway through here. That's what half mile means, I guess. Egghead now takes the lead as we weren't paying attention. Egghead up top by 2.5, then comes Point Blank. Another break of 3 comes Dos Cientos now, who seems to be clipping heels here with Tony Burrito, and Tony Burrito got the better of it as Dos Cientos slides back. Next, your one-time leader is in 5th, and Mars Landing, chat favorite, now back up in the 6th here, but 22 to 1. No respect in the odds. 3/4 is coming on in 1:15, and Egghead says, come and get me if you can. Egghead up top, Point Blank now, starts to catch some ground. Dos Cientos there, full rally outside with Tony Burrito down at the rail. Says, roll me up, because I'm ready, Chief. But it's Point Blank now. Point Blank got the best of it here, and now takes the nose. Pokes the nose in front for the lead, but Egghead battles back. On the extreme outside, it's Dos Cientos. It's 3 across the track. Dos Cientos takes the lead. Hanzo there now is trying to make a run at it along with Raging Cajun. Don't look now, insert coin. Here comes new challenger, but Dos Cientos is looking strong here past the 8th pole, and it's going to be Dos Cientos as Hanzo and Raging Cajun battle up for 2nd, and it looks like it was Hanzo. 12-8-10, order of finish.
Fuck! That was a good call. Fuck! I thought Egghead was going to fucking pull away after the turn and take it, but it died. But we cashed our Hanzo ticket. I had Hanzo to show, but I like Hanzo in that race. I think it finished 2nd or 3rd in last week's handicap, but also off preference. We're on the turf, and it was like a dirt. And then those Cientos, an A-. Bourbon Boys, shout out Bourbon Boys, congrats. You got a nice little 13-1 payback on that. Odds didn't even shift that much. Stayed the same. Where's Gunda bad at? Okay.
I mean, we totally called the winners there, right? We had the winners. You know, good to bad did break late. Tex is right. Once he came out of the gate, you knew he was going to lose. He finished 5th, I think. That's not that bad out of 16, but I don't think he gets paid either.
Yeah, he went pretty bad. He went way back, then to the middle, then back, and then 5th. Like, it was a weird race for him.
That was a good race. That was a good call. You know, especially for all that fucking jib-jabbing you had to do earlier, you know?
Halfway through the race, I almost thought I was auction off horses again. I was like, I'm going to now 13 now in the back now, going to get 13.5.
Yeah, once you
Well,
find your rhythm,
those are the handicaps I would play those handicaps if your horse wasn't in like the top 3 and you could buy it or something. Let's work that in somewhere.
He was a nice little runner. I mean, I think he was on the marketplace. I think it was a marketplace buy, but like I said last week, hit
42 races.
Got second this week.
Carrying a lot of weight. I just kind of crossed off anything that was carrying more than 4 pounds.
It's tough.
But,
so it was what? It was 12, 8, 10.
The one you looked at was 122. It would have carried 6 pounds.
Yeah, Hansa Egghead carried 125, which whatever that kills.
9. Yeah.
If you don't have a minus after your letter, it's tough. Someone else liked the B plus.
Yeah, I like that one. It didn't do well.
So 122, 122, and then 122. So all the A minuses. I guess that's usually with the it's either A minuses or B pluses in the handicaps when they're running. All right, we'll get the official results here and see what my payout is. I'll be lucky if I even broke even after that. Jeez, thumbs. Hansa 11-1, 13 for the winner, 30 on the show. I got smoked everywhere. My 240 got me 675 back. All right, so I'm negative on that race. We'll get back on the next race, though, that's for sure. 100% we will.
Guaranteed your money back.
100%. 100%. And you let the chat
later, Tax.
Back in again.
Texas.
Good night, Tex.
Let me check chat. Chat. Anyone from chat hit?
Yeah, the winner's in there. In St. Angeles, I don't recognize the name, but I assume he's claiming credit for having a horse.
I meant if anyone had a winning ticket on that, because there was some dollar dues bet. Definitely was some dollar dues. Got 13-1 on the price tag, which is kind of nice. And then we still have 34 minutes until this race closes for wagering. Fucking Berserker still holding. Just a slight.
Yeah, that's a bad bet. That's a bad bet. It's my own horse. Like, it's a better claim than it is a bet. I would bet on the 2 or the 1. If the 2's got the least bet on it, I would bet on that.
Yeah, bet on the 2 so that way the 1's odds get better. So that way I get a better payout. I can get some of my dollars back.
I'm dropping. I can't stay up for this race.
Yeah, all right, see you later, JJ.
Take it easy,
bud.
See you tomorrow in Discord. Rest easy. Take some Advils. What a good guy. What a good little fella. Who's
we gotta get him like a hotline number or something?
I don't think anyone is. What was that, Mo?
We gotta give JJ like a hotline number or something.
He doesn't want to put his camera on. I told him you gotta do the fist thing if you're in trouble. I forgot what it was. You do one of these if you're in trouble. Like, you put it up to your face like this. Or there's like another sign that you do for like when you need help. But yeah, definitely, everyone stay safe out there. All right, Mo. So you went in on Gundabad last race. You listened to Stens and to JJ. That drained your account.
Yeah, I bet the barn, and now I'm looking for new land.
I'm 50-50 because my win bet didn't win, but my show bet placed. This race, I'm in on Original Flame. The naysayer is probably the other bet. But again, I think Original Flame, so I'm not changing my stance. I did bet across the board.
The first thing we have
money in the place and show pool.
I was gonna say the first thing you have to fix is we need place and show bets on other horses because Otherwise, that doesn't amount to anything. But yeah,
Well,
I think it's
that's why when I do them, like if I'm gonna do the streams like that, I don't mind. I'll whatever horse I pick, I'll put across the board because I want. If you're just betting, like it's not. Listen, new players coming in and like if you take a casual fucking desk worker to the races one weekend and you explain betting to them, they're gonna make the safest bet possible, and that's always a show bet. They'll still pick the favorite, but they'll bet at the show just because it's safe. They have 3 chances to win it.
I disagree with that, but I think that's interesting. Like, come on, like, how can that be true if like the win pool always has the most money in it at every racetrack ever and every race ever?
Sharps and minnows, or for better term, sharks and minnows. Sharks make the win bets.
But then, shouldn't the average bet size? What's the average bet size in a given track on a given wager? I feel like this has to be something that we can prove out. It's got to be. Latuda says the newbies bet $2 show bets. That's what Doughboy's saying. I don't know if I buy that argument, but if you guys believe it, then I can't.
I mean, it's not that I believe it. It's like I've seen it. I've taken my friends that had no idea. They never gambled before, but they're like, "Yeah, I'll go to the races on Friday night with you." And when I explain it, I'm betting fucking $50 win and place. They're betting $2 a show and $2 a place and show. Or they're betting like a random exacta where it's like favorite and like 4-1 or something. Like they're taking the safe route because they're not like, if you don't know, if I go into something, I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to just max out every time. I'm going to do slow and steady until I figure out what I'm doing. Like, again, when I go to the racetrack, my bets per race are maybe $50 minimum. Like, the average Joe, maybe they'll bet $5 per race. Like you could tell them, just bring $20. If there's 10 races, you bet $2 on every race. You can have fun that way. And they're like, oh shit, yeah, $20, whatever. I don't mind losing $20. The average person doesn't mind losing $20. Me, I'm okay if I lose $250 at the racetrack for a day. That doesn't hurt me. It doesn't bother me because I understand gambling. I understand that there's a risk, and I understand what I take in. I'm comfortable losing. But like the average person, I feel like they want the safer bet, and that's going to give them a chance to have more fun. They might put a show bet on a horse, and if the horse wins, they still had fucking fun rooting the horse in to win, but they also made, 50 cents on their $2 bet, so like they can bet again tomorrow. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
you're rich.
I've been gambling for
the people you hang out with are fucking millionaires.
Well, no, not me, but I've been gambling for 35 years. And I've never placed a show bet my entire life. I'm actually a pick 3. I'm a pick 3 guy. I prefer just give me the big hit or give me jack shit. Like I don't want my 50 cents on the dollar back. Like screw that.
And that's what I mean. Like, you've been to the racetrack before, so like that's like expert level betting. Yeah. Intermediate and beginner betting is show bets, placing show bets.
Well, no, you're right. That's what I'm saying. You're right because a lot of people that I do, bump into that learn pick 3s. I mean, yeah, most of them are playing win play shows, sometimes across the board. But
and this is maybe this just explains my upbringing a little bit. But like when I would go to the races with my grandfather, he would say, "All right, you have $10 credit. There's 9 races." So I learned how to manage my $10, and I knew how to grind it up the first 4 or 5 races, betting place and show. And then when I got to the later races, I could do $5 across, win play show. I could do that and take a bigger risk. So like my degenerate grandfather taught me, an 8-year-old at the races how to do it the right way, and I kind of like learned it that way. But it just depends who your friends are. If you hang out with a bunch of degenerates, then they don't give a shit. They'll fucking lose $20, $50 a race. Like if you're not like if you're not in a pond full of degenerates and you have like more reserved, like a lot of people, dude, it's crazy. Like I do this when I'm at work, I talk about it because I work with kitchen people. So half of them are degenerate actual restaurant workers, and the other ones are just like they work in a bakery, so where it's not, you don't have to be a degenerate. Everything's a lot slower. It's like a 2 out of 10 on like the stress scale compared to like restaurants where it's, fucking let's go 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10, let's go to it. But when I explain to them that you're risking money that you worked for, you earn, it makes them sick. I would never do that. I worked so hard for that money. I could never picture me risking it. There's those kind of people out there too. so it doesn't appease to everyone, but there are definitely levels to this shit when it comes to like newer players coming in. Like, I feel like newer players are less likely to risk, you know, $10, $15 a race. Where like, I'll bet $1 a show, or I'll bet like $2 a show on this horse, just to have fun. But like most crypto degens we bring in are gonna put, you know, $10, $15 on a horse to win. Like, it's just what it is. But
it's just gas transaction fee on Ethereum. Mo, let me ask you, because we don't get a lot of time to sit on the same stream very often. So you're in syndicates, plural. I've heard you say it many times. Do any of those people bet on your horses? Do they bet against your horses? Is that something that you think is something that could potentially grow? Because it's something I've always advocated for. If I look at the stables, that if they have one distable coin out of, I don't know, is there 1,000 distable coins? I even own one distable coin. If I don't have enough exposure on Yaya Ding Dong in a left or soft race, but I'm part of these stables, I want Yaya Ding Dong to win. Am I more likely as a DGOT holder or the stables holder to bet on Yaya Ding Dong in this game, or do you not think that changes your decision at all?
I mean, you know, most of the people that even are in this game with me, I have a hard enough time getting them to make their account and claim their free horse. So again, a lot of them are skeptical on the whole ecosystem as a whole. And I think the wagering part is what they are just super like, I need to kind of see this and wait it out type of deal. Now, I will say that with the After Dark, I believe a few of my guys actually did place bets last week. I don't know if they're around tonight, but they didn't bet on my horses. They didn't bet on their horses. They basically just approached it. Because again, a lot of horses that we own, you know, if you look at my barn, it's just horses that I got to get people in the game, you know, get them some skin in the game, make an account, and maybe they'll get hooked. And then we can get better horses. Like, that's always my goal. You know, these are just kind of like starter horses. So I would never even tell anybody to come in and gamble on our horses. But they don't really come in like with a bias, I guess, to answer the question. Like, they're not looking at, you know, ooh, we own this horse, we have to bet on it, right? They're coming in at it, taking it, you know what? We just own a horse to own a horse. But from a gambler's perspective, what makes sense? You know what I mean? And then they might use MJ's tool. They might just start doing what you guys were doing with the preferences and, you know, kind of breaking it down that way, right? But yeah, they don't really care, I guess, what we own or what we have too much stake in, more than they just kind of want to like see how it all works. I mean, everybody's just so interested, you know, but they also don't want to put in all the money and all the resources when they're not, you know, 100% sure of what's going to happen, right? So, and that's where I come in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm kind of the buffer, you know.
Yeah, I just didn't know if people would want to ever size up they feel like they didn't have enough skin in the game, so they wanted to take a swing in a particular spot or not, but
no, not the guys I pretty much roll with. Maybe in some like actual crypto bro type, you know, stuff with, you know, maybe coming in from like other worlds like these stables and stuff. But I mean, my guys are like blue collar worker guys, you know what I'm saying? They're hanging out wearing polos like you know, hanging out on the golf course and getting texts from me, basically like, hey, our horse runs, boy named Sue runs at 7 o'clock tonight. And I basically just hope that they watch the race, you know, and then sometimes we talk about it. And most of the time, it's like, oh, yeah, he won again. That's cool. But, you know, I do hope that they kind of get more interested as more horses hit the track. My uncle actually just bought his own horse. Someone was actually looking for him in Discord. They're like, hey, anybody know Unc's Crazy Stable? I'm like, that's right. That's actually my uncle. The only horse he owns. But, yeah, so he picked up a horse after the Foals Day original. And he's waiting for the end of this month. And everyone else is now starting to look. Well, you know, they're like, oh, cool, I can get a horse for 125, right? Because I brought them in for $50 at a clip, and sometimes there's like 4 or 5 of us in a syndicate, and I have like 4 or 5 of them that kind of came in different times or whatever. So these prices now are insanely low compared to what, you know, we came in at on these freaking Gen Zero tickets. So are the horses as good, right? I mean, I think we all kind of wonder about that, but you know.
Well, I mean, there's always going to be, once you have an increasing horse population, that each horse should be, in theory, worth a little bit less, even if it's maybe even better. So you're going to have some of that, and then you try to figure out where horses fit into the ecosystem is going to be part of it as well. But no, I mean, I think we've seen prices come down, and if anybody's out there hasn't bought anything yet, again, I think the next time we do an auction, I would tune into that, because there were some things like I would say that wasn't an efficient market the way that the auction worked, and that's not a shot at Mo or Peeb. It just some things went higher than I thought they were going to. Some things went lower. Like some things went higher than they were listed for earlier today. There was 2 horses that met that criteria. So look at that stuff. But the other thing I would say is, I think we've seen it now twice for sure, is the most horse volume we have, or horse sale volume we have, is on Foals Day. So the first day that you had the foals available to you is the most volume in transactions, but it's also probably like on a proportional basis, it's been the highest prices we've had. Like if you would have bought a day later, you probably would have got a better price. If you'd buy a week later, you would have got a better price. So like, I guess there's going to be some instances where something's just listed too cheap. Like we talked about it a little bit earlier where, you know, on the first day, we are selling a ton of our foals and people are buying them and they're trying to resell them for more money. Like that's a dangerous game. I wouldn't recommend anybody playing that. I would say wait a week and then see what the prices are then, because if it's a steal, someone's going to buy it within like 2 minutes of it being listed. So if something's been listed for a half hour, like just wait a day or two or see what else gets listed. It would be my recommendation for people. And I do think that there's an argument to be made that this third crop, which hasn't even been bred yet, much less dropped yet, I think that's going to be maybe a better buyer point than the second crop of foals. The first crop is good. And I think the first crop might actually go up as we get closer to the end of the month when it can actually race. But I worry a little bit about the second crop.
Yeah, almost like the forgotten child almost. Yeah. The thing I wonder about, I guess, with the racing part of it, right? Like the value of them right now, because like I said, I brought people in for, like I said, like 50, basically $250, like $400 for a Gen 0 ticket. But like I said, now it's like with the third crop, I mean, they have to be proportionate still to the claimers, right? I mean, you're not going to have these A horses still selling for like crazy low because they're not going to put them in a 5,000 claimer. I mean, it's still going to, well, maybe we are. I don't know. Maybe I'm just.
The one I bought the other day, that was my logic. Like
maybe, yeah, maybe it will. Maybe I'm just, yeah.
Like at worst, that was my logic. At worst, I put it. If I have an A that can run it, that goes into a 5,000 claimer, and if someone takes it, like I lost a few dollars on races, but like at worst, it's a 5,000 claimer. At worst,
yeah. I talked about it a little bit the other night when I streamed myself, which shout out to you guys because streaming is not as easy as it looks. But I'm fine with making assumptions based on where horses are going to race in claimers. But keep in mind, like in my opinion, your evaluation of where that horse is going to race in claimers is valid for 3 weeks and 3 weeks only. Like if you think that that horse can race in this claimer, I'm not going to doubt you on that. But the next month, like I wouldn't hold that as like it's not still necessarily going to race in that same claimer level, because we're going to have more foals each month, and then we're only 2 to 3 months from having Gen 1, I guess it'd be 3 months, Gen 1 horses having their own foals, which in theory should be a better caliber of racer as well. Like if everything moves up, not linearly, but if everything moves up, like horses are going to get better. So what's a great 30,000 claimer now is maybe a great 10,000 claimer when these first crop race, and the next season maybe that's a 5K claimer. Now there shouldn't be a drastic difference in quality between the first crop and the second crop, but the other aspect of that is peak age. So if there's not a big difference in the caliber of the horse, but we think age is a huge factor, and we know like no 2-year-old could race against the top 3-year-olds in the country. So why would we think that the horse that we said would be a good 10K claimer racer as this crop 1 racer, the same looking thing other than that it's a year younger, if we don't segregate based on age, or we don't weight based on age, I just don't understand how that second crop is going to be able to race in the same race or same claimer buy-in level. So, I mean, there's so much more to come on that. Like I started with it kind of casually suggesting, but I do think the team has to give us some more information on what their definition or their vision for aging is. Because for me, aging would be best left for like a year from now when we think we're closer to solving the game. Like no one is close to solving the game now. New people are here. Like there's a bigger risk that aging doesn't work, then that aging is some great feature in the short term, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, your stream the other night, by the way, that I know you kept on saying, I can't believe they gave me the keys to this, and hey, that was a great stream, man. Listen, I felt like I was in like an old seminar or something, but I was actually engaged, man. Like I was listening, dude. Like I said, the insight and stuff that comes out of your guys' mouth is mind blowing to me. Like I'm just a guy who I just call the races, and like you guys talk about tickets and you guys got names for shit. And I'm just always fascinated, man, by all of it. Crazy.
Well, it's just what I would say that is much better about this game than the other game is probably because everybody's had to hold their bags as long as they have. Like when the other game started, it was a bunch of people in Australia racing against each other, and then they bought all the horses because no one else was buying the horses, and then Top Shots happened, and then everybody was interested in Web3 gaming and play-to-earn gaming, and then it became very PvE or PvP, I guess, in that sense that you were in it alone, and those people that had been there for a while were there to clean up. Here, our first chance to monetize these horses was what, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, realistically, even though we had to hold them for 18 months, more or less. Like we haven't monetized our horses that much earlier than anybody buying in now. And I think we realized that since I haven't been able to take much money off the table, or I personally have taken no money off the table, that for me to get as much money as I possibly can out of the game, new users have to have a great experience. It can't be a good experience. It has to be a great experience. If they want to be as invested as I am and just maybe later to the game than I am, and that's fine. They can work their way up to where we are in 6 months or a year. Like that works. Oh, we missed the race. Sorry, soulmates.
Did we?
I didn't even see a race going. I never saw a second handicap added tonight. I don't know what happened.
Damn, who's your supplier, bro? I thought I had a good one.
10:24 in the chat or 11:24 for you guys. Soulmate said race is live. All caps.
24. Yeah, what race?
Yeah, I said it earlier. I didn't see any second handicap. That's why I thought it was weird.
Yeah, I didn't see a spillover or anything for that shit. Like there was only one race up.
And there was no handicaps up for Thursday night, so I don't know. I don't really know what the heck.
That's the other thing too. Like this one, like they knew they were gonna do it again this week, but they waited until last night to put the they could, be a little more on top of these things, But we'll get there. We take what we take. We take what we get, and we complain about it later. Let me touch on chat with Tutus. I can't bet on horses I win in real life. I get pissed twice if I lose. Losing twice is my favorite fucking thing to do in the world. I love losing twice. But betting on my horses in real life, that's a skill game. I only ever had 2 horses, and the one is my Twitter background on my Twitter page, Longhorn. I claimed that horse for $5,000 only because Scott Lake, and if not, a lot of people aren't familiar with Scott Lake. Scott Lake was one of the best claiming trainers in the country for a number of years running. He won numerous claiming crown titles, claimed $5,000 horses and turned them into small stakes horses. Like he just knew what he was doing. But Scott Lake's assistant was at the track that day, and they were looking to claim this horse, but he was also a friend of my father's and knew me as I was growing up. And he's like, I'm supposed to put a claim on this horse, but if you want it, I won't put the claim in. You can just claim it. So he stepped back. He let me get the horse. I get the horse. We run it back 3 weeks later, and he's 18-1, and I fucking hammered this horse. And everyone that came to the race, I was like, I don't know if we're gonna win or not, but I tell you this, we definitely improved this horse since we got it. I hammered it. My fucking brother-in-law hammered it. My niece's father-in-law they all just cashed in on this horse, and I won the race by like a nose hair. And that's my gambling story that I love to tell people. It's just fun. God damn,
how's it going, man? Doubling up.
I'll tell you right now, like that. If I could find the replay of that race, I would play it because that was a fucking race. Like the horse that finished second to it is just coming off of throat surgery, couldn't breathe, so they operated on his throat and took like a flap out. So like they were betting heavy on him. He was like the 3-1 favorite at the end of the day. But the jockey that also rode that horse, Kenner Carmouche, I asked him to ride my horse, and he was going to ride it until he found out that his regular trainer put a horse in the same race, and he's like, I can't ride this horse. So I was like, okay, that's fine. Don't ride it. So then we beat him at the fucking wire regardless. And like he just looked at me when he off the horse and he just shook his head. He's like, I'll listen to you next time. It was like one of those fucking like I told you so without telling you so things. But goddamn, I love gambling. I love horse racing. I love telling my horse stories. Digital horse racing is great. Gambling's great. Fucking A. 11 minutes until wagering closes. Still berserker. The 3-1
I'm all
favorite.
Original Flame, man. Original Flame is my go-to here.
That's who I bet. All right, we got some show money in now. That's nice to see. Good shit. We still need a place pool, but I understand.
Sten, you do a lot of like real horse racing or just digital?
More of the digital variety. I was pretty active. I wouldn't say I was not big in the other game. I knew the right people and had the right conversations with the right people, but my stable itself was nothing crazy. Like in racing earnings, I did pretty well in the summer months of 2021 and completely hung it up by call it September of 2021. So it wasn't a long stay there. I'm in Minnesota, so I do go to Canterbury.
I was gonna say, because you're right there with my guy. My guy's Paul Allen, man. That's like one of my favorite announcers on the planet.
He's the best. And what's funny is, so I've suggested this to Roaring Hammy before, who used to be able to contact anybody. It was probably the day after LeBron James called Paul Allen a national treasure on Twitter, and he is really good. Like if anybody's watched the quarterback series on Netflix, when they're doing Vikings highlights for like the games of the Vikings, that is Paul Allen on the radio call. They don't even use the television call for any of that. He has some of the most iconic radio calls. And one, he calls races at Canterbury, which is a modest track. I understand that. Two, he calls Vikings games and does a great job at that. Three, he hosts a 3-hour radio show on the highest rated sports station in the entire fucking country. Like, he would be like the perfect person to try to get involved in this. This is a preposterous statement, but even better than like Larry Colmus, because like Larry Colmus is a fucking legend, but Larry Colmus cares about the sport of horse racing, and he'd be here for like one night a month, maybe maximum at that point. Where if you could get like Paul Allen involved, one, he'd love it, and he would talk about it on his radio show, and he would get more people involved in it than a Larry Colmus would. Like Colmus did the other game. It was cool for a race. It didn't change anything.
Chill, bro. That was our stream. That night was great. Don't be talking shit on my mans like that, all right? We ain't allowing that.
I speak the truth. I speak the truth.
Could you imagine how, like, we even told him behind the scenes, we're like, yeah, they're just going to run in a straight line, so it's pretty easy. It's like
when's the turn?
He literally showed up and didn't read the lines, and he still did a professional job. But, like, yeah, Larry's also a fucking national treasure, so you calm the fuck down on their stems.
I'm just saying his influence outside of horse racing is small. I think we have to look outside the box on what we're trying to influence.
Did the Twins lose to the Tigers today?
Yeah, 6-rip. Yep. Sonny Gray pitch, so yeah, go figure.
Always bet against Sonny Gray.
He's only got like 2 wins of the year, and he played in the All-Star game and pitched like the 4th inning. Yeah, it's been a weird year.
Jesus. All right, what we got here? 8 minutes. 8 minutes to get your spumonies laid down. Another 10 minutes after that when wagering closes. But yeah, I mean, I'd like to see. I feel like if they lower this claiming tag, now I know I don't know if their intentions are to do high stakes after dark, but like if they made these like 80K and 100K claimers, I feel like we might be able to get fields. But I'd like to see.
Well, it depends on how many races you're trying to run, though, too.
Yeah,
like it. I think we could fill 10 races at 80Ks.
Like they said they were gonna. If there was overspill, there was definitely overfill. And
yeah, it was 16 of 16. So.
They didn't load the other one up right away. I thought they were going to.
Yeah, because I had 2 horses entered in the first, and neither one of them got selected. So.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I'll just throw him in the other one, you know. But
I was waiting for the other one because my horse wasn't going to be ready in time. I had a 1 minute cushion between my horse being ready and me being eligible to enter the race. So I was like, well, fuck. I guess I'll just get in the second one, which worked out better because it was supposed to be sloppy. But yeah, it didn't come up. Kind of salty, but it is what it is. We'll get it back.
yeah, I was a little mad. I missed my opportunity last week to showcase Boy Named Sue, but if that was the opportunity, man, 12 furlongs, sloppy track, ooh, that's what that horse eats for breakfast. And I just ran him earlier that night. I had no idea. I didn't know it was a handicap race the first week. I do this all day, but I barely pay attention, if that makes sense. I'm like autopilot, just like looking at screens and whatever. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it was a handicap. I just thought it was like an after dark race. So
when you look at the same
that
shit
was
every day, it's just like there's no reason to be alert to anything new yet. In a couple of weeks, then you have to be alert. But like, it's to be fair and to credit everyone else, we've been looking at the same website for 3 seasons of racing now, for the most part.
Yeah, if there's something interesting in the early morning claimers, I mean, for us, and then it probably works best for the Euros, but it is kind of a tough time for me personally to pay attention to the claimers. But
yeah, I mean, they could move some of those to the afternoon. That'd be nice to like stream around those. Like, that's what I mean. If they like had it, if we just got like a section in the evening of races that was like a 6 to 8 race card that were consecutive over like 2.5 hours. I mean, you'll be on streaming, obviously. I can build a fucking like stream around it for wagering and stuff. Like, but I'm still in the benefit of the doubt phase. With my judgment. So hopefully some things change. But yeah, I would like to see claiming in the afternoon. I know K. Kirk said something about that earlier today. Like, he missed some races because everything fires and fills first thing. Like nothing fires after afternoon. I feel like with the claimers,
it's just hard. Like the horse population is pretty tricky, and everybody's working off the same cooldown. So if you raced in the afternoon one day, you're looking in no more than 4 hours before that. Like we'll get there. Like I'm ready to just be done with this racing season, and then things will get spicy again when everything is actually new and we don't know the answers to everything.
I feel like there's a lot of good and there's a lot of shit because like we're gonna get right in, and like I'm not saying shit like a bad thing. I'm just saying like stuff. We're getting into crop 1 hitting the track, and then next breeding season is back to back, so it's just a lot and a little bit of space. So it could be fucking. Latuda, can you copy the race and send it? I'll fucking put that on stream. If I get flagged for it, I get flagged for it. That was a nice race. It was definitely a nice race.
The one that we didn't think ran, or that?
No.
What
This is my IRL
race
race that I was talking about.
Oh.
I don't remember my Twin Spiders login, but you used to be able to go back like 10 or 15 years in race results and watch replays. Every once in a while, I go back and relive my glory days. You
didn't remember your Twin Spiders login. That's like the JJ saying he didn't get punched in the face by his wife tonight. I feel like
mine's on auto save depending on what device I'm on. Maybe I can pull it up. Let me see. Or maybe if I can get it on TVG, I just have to remember the actual day. I can find the picture and find it.
Anybody live nearby the JJ could do like a welfare check-in or something?
I'm a couple hours away.
We do know someone that Ghost, you would know, Golden Stables. He's originally from that area as well. So,
oh, okay.
We'll find out. We'll keep it. We just keep our mans in thoughts and prayers for the JJ. Thoughts and prayers.
Well, I mean, first and foremost, I hope he's okay. But second of all, I want to make sure I can still get access to Balloon Arch. You know what I mean? Because if he's not around, then who's going to put him on the market? Unless his wife takes over that. But
Latuda, sorry, Latuda. What was the date on that? It was like August something, 2010 or 11. Jesus Christ, I'm so old. Fuck. What is our purpose in life?
Now that Doughboy is depressed about how long ago this was, can we get someone to give him an extra follow? He's one follow away from his goal. Not that I don't love that he's at 69 followers, which is a sexy number, but
nice.
one short of the goal.
Yeah, I did notice that. So now I put the now Twitch gives me goals to put up, so I just post that shit. I gotta try and get there. I don't know what the hell I need for affiliate, but I gotta get there. It's like 1,000 hours or some shit, some crazy stuff. I should have started a Kick account too, but I don't want to do all these things. It's so much to do at once.
I mean, the best way for this. Sorry, good.
I was just gonna say, sell me on Kick. What's the benefit that Twitch doesn't have?
Well, the reason why Kick exists is because Twitch had like a select few, basically like the goody two shoes of the platform, who thought that they were holier than thou and started, basically trash talking the gamblers on Twitch. Now, some of the gamblers were a little extreme. They do like, $1,500 pulls on slots that I normally spend 10 cents. You know what I mean? So it is very degenerate, and it became a huge issue and like a national story with some of these people, the amount of money they were gambling. And basically, the biggest streamers went to Twitch and they were like, "We're going to boycott. We're going to do this, that, and the other." So Twitch basically just came down with a hard stance one day. They were like, "All right, you know what? Stake.com and all the crypto casinos and all that stuff gone." So basically, if you're not like a U.S. sanctioned, even though Stake has a U.S. casino, if you're not like a U.S. sanctioned poker site or something like that, they basically are not allowed to gamble it on Twitch anymore. So instantly, Trainwreck TV was like the biggest gambler on Twitch. I mean, this guy basically partnered up with Eddie from Stake, and he was like, "Listen, let's just partner up on this site," and they basically brought it to fruition. I mean, it's basically a lot of these streaming sites are nowadays, but it's basically just a Twitch copy job, swap the colors, like Sub-Zero and Scorpion type of deal. It's just one's green and black, one's purple and black, right? But they are building out the API. They're not a gambling-centric website. They actually removed gambling from the main page. They signed XQC for a $100 million deal. They got more money than Mixer used to have trying to get the gamers and Facebook. But the bottom line is, when I stream on Kick, I actually got new people that came into the stream from Kick. They were like, "Oh, what is this? Like, I've never seen this before." Whereas YouTube and Twitch, I did it for 6 months and not a single new user ever came in and even questioned what the hell I was doing. So that alone tells me, like, I feel like I'm in the right place over there. But it is good to simulcast, right? If we can go to Twitter, we can go to TikTok on certain days, or we can go here, just random people that might, see the game and come in. I'm going to start renting out the OTB here on Long Island, because we have a Saratoga room. It's a big glass room, and people will see me calling races, and I'll have a TV up with the games, the races going, and people will see this as they walk up to bet on real horses. So that's like, we just have to get people seeing this game, and that's why I feel like Twitch, to me, when they came down with the gambling stance, I'm like, well, then horse racing is next, and why the hell would I waste my time? You know what I mean? Trying to build a brand on a platform that is just going to kind of ostracise us anyway in the long run, right? So that was a long-winded ansser, but yeah, Kick is basically designed, for people like us.
With some crazy video footage. Can you guys hear like the volume or no?
No.
No.
That makes sense. Where am I at? I'm on the far outside.
It's like way in the back.
No, I'm top in the lead. Like the horse in the yellow silks that's in front right now. That's the one that had the throat surgery. I think it was. Yeah.
Philadelphia Park.
Had throat surgery. So that motherfucker was going on the lead no matter what, and everyone knew it. So it was just like, how far do you stay off him? And the first quarter went in 22. So his objective was good.
I feel like I never know the times and what's a good time. Like Mo, you seem to be on top of that when you're doing race calls of what's a good time, but I'm oblivious.
I try. I mean, I don't even know if it's the same in photo finish, but yeah, like Doughboy just said, you can average it out to like 12 seconds, be like average for a furlong. So if you see like a 22 and change, it's relatively quick. If you start seeing like 24 highs, 25s, you can assume it's like a slow pace. How it relates to photo finish, I just usually kind of say like, oh, it's a modest pace, or something like that. But I don't really know what the hell I'm saying on those, because I don't really know what they consider a modest pace yet.
Yeah.
Again, we have the data. I should probably dive into that, but
I'm curious if it's different by archetype too. If you would run faster on turf, or obviously I think you would run faster on firm than sloppy. But if dirt and turf have different times as well.
It also depends on the distance too. But most of the sprints you want to see, like when I see my sprints and their opening quarters like 23 and 24, I just assume my horse is shit. It's slow. It's molasses. I wonder if we'll be able to see Baby Doughboy in the end of this. But yeah, I won.
I feel like
won. It was nice.
I don't like your silks there. Look like
Nah,
get
those
better
aren't
silk,
mine.
dude.
My fucking silks were still in the truck. But also I claimed this under someone else's stable, and you can't transfer a horse out of your stable within 30 days of buying it. And I ran him back 15 days later, so I was still in his stable, so I couldn't do anything about it. But
Trying to pull shady shit in real life is what you're saying.
I was very vocal about how things work in real life. 17-1 would beat the 3-5 favorite. Where am I at? Look at Baby Doughboy right there, slapping hands. Let's go. What a good horse. Look how handsome I was.
A little goatee going.
I was fucking nice, dude. That was pre-cancer. That was the summer of pre-cancer. Then cancer hit me, and then I looked like a skeleton compared to that. God damn.
Look at the shorts. The shorts, man.
I'm telling you, I have no kneecaps. I had my grandpa there. I had the whole family there. That was a beautiful day.
Latuda shouts it out as well. White on white. Yeah. He's got a little thumb up there. Yeah.
And the white shoes.
What a fun fucking day that was, too. God damn. I love horse racing. All right, we got 5 minutes until this race, and then we can all go to bed.
I sent my resume into Parks to call races there in real life.
Well, I am meeting up with my arch nemesis, ECS, next week for a nice Parks day. So I gotta go catch up with my mans.
Yeah, I live pretty far from there, but I'm like, you know what? That chick that calls races there, I'm pretty sure I'm better than her.
I thought about reaching out to her and having her come on stream a couple times.
Oh, I take it all back.
She's listen, she's relatively new, and she's replacing a fucking very good announcer. Keith Jones was nothing to fucking bat an eye at. Keith Jones is a very good announcer.
I'm just trying to get a job, man.
Like, she gets a lot of hate on Twitter because like she's new, and just people like to complain about fucking things they don't know nothing about. So like, they just give her shit about her race calls, and I'm like, you guys are fucking assholes. A, you're doing it because you don't think a woman can do the job, and B, you're doing it because they're new and they're learning on the job, and you don't like that. Like, fucking, it's changed, bro. Deal with it. But yeah, I do plan on reaching out to her and trying to get her to come on. Listen, again, it's no toe stepping. You know what I mean? There's gonna be, if Zook ever comes out of retirement, then you got some competition to worry about. But I'm pretty sure you got it covered because he's already admitted that he's nowhere close to being able to call races because they're not straight lines.
It's just a different. It's different. Yeah. It's a different call. He's like there's not one that's better or worse than the other one. Like, yeah, I like the variety actually. Man.
Like some people don't like the way voices sound. I hate the way my voice sounds, but you know sometimes I gotta listen to it to make sure I correct them.
We can't really hear our own voices properly. We don't hear it like everybody else because our bodies are actually designed after years of the reverbation. You know, we actually don't hear it the same, but
yeah, when I did my cooking videos, I had to hear my voice, and I fucking hated it. I didn't blame people if they didn't want to watch that shit, but yeah, I mean, everything's different, you know. There's like I said, like there was three different streams on today, like some overlapping than others, but like you watch what you like to watch. Like Mo calls races. If you like listening to race calls, you're gonna fucking watch Mo. I don't call races, but I like to chit chat about, you know, other things and, you know, get into wagering when it's popping off. Then you watch me for entertainment purposes on that. If you like nerdy shit, like that's MJ. He's the stats guy. He's the number guy. You know what I mean? Like everyone's out there doing their own thing, and that's the best part about it is there's no one has to tune into one specific fucking stream. Like that was the thing with the other game. It's like everyone tried to stream over everyone. It's like, all right, well, everyone's doing something different. Some people are doing a wagering show. Some people are having a stats guy on to break down stats. It's like, you know, you don't come home and not, like back in the day, not everyone watched WWF and WCW. Like there was always either or, like because they're on at the same time. So,
yeah.
Now you can record one and watch it later. Same fucking thing. Like you can go back and watch the replays. So, yeah, it is what it is. Oh shit. 2 minutes.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2 minutes. I think we got a good number on our money there. No, I think we're in nice.
I like it. And yeah, I hope more people continue to, come on and stream. And that's what I told you, man. I'm like, listen, like, I stream because nobody else was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when I first came onto the scene, I mean, it was just, nobody was around streaming. So I was like, well, hey, me and Vault, we'll just do Friday nights. And I started doing my own stuff, so.
Yeah, when did you start? When did you actually start streaming?
Like streaming?
No, like
or just photo finish.
Like, when did you do your first stream was?
Yeah, it was like October.
Yeah. So like I think we had Ian on like 5 months after Mint, and when we were still Pony Plug Zook and I, we had him on then, and like there was nothing to stream because there wasn't even beta yet. So like we couldn't justify investing time if there's nothing to invest time in. And then when we moved to Nights of DJ, we had Ian on again, and we were racing, but we were late into I think we were just late into the beta at that point, and it was closing. So like we didn't do any content then, but like it's just hard to do content around. So like you don't like calling forwards races. I don't want to stream and try and have people wager on forwards races. Like that's not fun.
No,
like,
yeah, you're right. You're right.
Shit like tonight, like you see what you can do if you have full fields and like some support around saying, yo, this is happening and these are the people that are doing it. But yeah, I just think at one point, once racing is kicking, you're obviously going to be on multiple days a week during fucking 2-year-old season. I'm obviously going to be on multiple days a week during 2-year-old season. You'll have a recorded version if people want to watch that. I'll have, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's ways to enjoy everything. Like, I don't go to Baskin Robbins and just get vanilla fucking ice cream ever. Like, it's Baskin Robbins for a reason. You know what I mean? If you want just vanilla ice cream, you go to the supermarket and just get a half-gallon of vanilla ice cream. Like, I'm not gonna go to Baskin Robbins and do that. Like, it's the same thing. Like, different taste. Some people may not like my semi-obnoxious speaking. That's all right. I get it. I understand. Some people might not like the fact that I have stems on my stream. I understand. I get it. Some people might.
I love the fact I get to talk to Sens now. I didn't get a chance to talk to Sens. He said it earlier, man. This is great. Saying, dude. I love shit like this.
Let's take me off. Take you off, Sens.
Alright, here we go.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is post time here for the nightcap. Here on After Dark. Make sure you follow the channel. I don't know if we're still at 69. As much as we love that number, let's get the man over the hump and get him 70. And they're racing. A little homage to Paul Allen there, and it's going to be Scuba Ringer, leads the way in front of Naysayer. Then it's Optimistic Stoner, runs alongside Berserker. In fifth is Sugar Magnolia, even in the Yellow Silks, and Original Flame. May or may not be our pick to win. Rounding out the top leaderboard here as they head out into the main track and pass the wire for the first time. Everybody wave to your current leader. It's Scuba Ringer. Scuba Ringer shows the way here, leads by a length and a half. Naysayer tucked in with a ground-saving trip down at the rail, but instant challenge here on the outside from Optimistic Stoner. Original Flame, finally out of last, moves up into fourth, but now finds some action alongside with Sugar Magnolia. Berserker drops back to sixth and will trail the pace here, even around the turn, as this field got about 7 lengths between them from front to back, and Scuba Ringer still the one to catch. Still break of 2.5. Naysayer now finds some room, sneaks up down the rail. Optimistic Stoner still in third, no change there. Original Flame treks in fourth. Berserker moves up into fifth, and Sugar Magnolia is now going to be your new trailer here. He's got about 8 lengths to catch if he wants to go after Scuba Ringer here and Naysayer down the back stretch. And Scuba Ringer finally has some interest here on the inside as Naysayer moves up to make that awkward eye contact. Doesn't waste any time, goes right on by now, takes the lead. Naysayer now pulls ahead by 2. Scuba Ringer's just going to delegate that to second. Original Flame tries to get rallying here and has some room down the rail by Berserker. Look out, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, that's Original Flame down the rail. My bad. It's Berserker on the outside. And it's a 2-horse race up front, but there are challengers. Naysayer up top, Scuba Ringer and Original Flame. Berserker's still not out of it as they hit the top of the turn and head for home. 1 mile and 140, and it's Naysayer. Original Flame gets off the rail and looking for tail, but there is much motion down the center of the track with Berserker as well. As I tried to look off the track, it's Naysayer who continues to open up here with every stride, and I did not place a damn place bet. And it's Naysayer up top over Original Flame and Berserker 2-1-3. Order of finish.
We just talked about placing place bets and show bets, and I didn't place a damn place bet. I placed a win bet, but I didn't place a place bet. I bet that's Doughboy right there. He's gonna highlight a few times. This is why, chat. This is why you place them. Don't be like me. I also don't know if they're muted, but I can't. I can only hear myself. Okay, there we go.
I don't even know if I could be heard. I was talking shit.
I don't think we could have. Yeah, so was I. So was I.
Fuck, I forgot about
I think I would have nailed the trifecta without needing a box if we were able to bet that. I knew we weren't going to win. 10 was too long. It was right instead of left. Like, there was no chance we were the favorite there, but I figured we'd hit the board. I said that.
Yep. And someone took your advice and put a show wager in. So everyone who had a wager on either the 1, 2, or 3 at the show slot cashes in. It just depends how much now. Maybe I break even because I had 320 across. But it was one of the 2 A pluses was winning. And honestly, they were dead even. It was a coin flip which won in the odds, you know, but obviously Naysayer with the less of a half star less at right and a half star more on dirt. I don't know if that does it, but maybe it's just a more boost for this A plus.
Yeah, well, actually, Original Flame has the better record by a wide margin. There are 22 wins and 60 starts, but I mean, I think it's tough to evaluate records too much with the racing we've had for the last month and a half. But I'm going to wrap up for myself here because I can't withstand the 30-minute Doughboy. The goodbye.
No, I'll cut you now. Well, now it's going to work out perfect because it's 11:54. So, no, the way when you're handicapping a race, the only way that helps you out right now is just go to charts and see if you match up the distance, and then try and find those races and see what kind of races they were. There's a shitty horse running shitty claimers, and you're running a fucking stakes race. Obviously, you're not gonna pull weight there, but these are things that will come. They'll float to the top as more wagering takes place. Damn, that's a nice little pool. 17, 18K plus the crown sting.
I like those races. Those races are really good. Yeah, I wish we had 6 of them a night, but
listen, we'll get there maybe. All right, how cooked am I? All right, we got the place and show wager back. I got the place wager back. All right, down a little bit, down $2. Oh well, time's the breaks, but
chip in a chair.
Yeah, chip in a chair. We got some playing around money for the next time. But yeah, that was a fun 3 hours. Maybe next week. Well, Thursday maybe you'll get the full card. Maybe 3 of the races instead of just 1 handicap. Yeah, we're gonna find out what happened to the extra handicap and why it didn't fill over. But yeah, Thursday Mo will be back for a third time Thursday. Are you turning that into one extensive show, or are you still splitting it up?
I mean, I'm pretty sure because I really don't want to do third time Thursday alone, and if Pip's just gonna show up for one, I'd rather just do it. If he wants to do the after dark, so we'll probably just wrap everything into one, and maybe just kind of cover weekly news and stuff like that. But honestly, with the streams that you've been doing, I know Sten's been doing the stuff now. I mean, Pee's been doing the streams. I mean, there's so much information that's being sent out to people that I feel like my stoned ass, they don't really even need to listen to me when it comes to that. So I'll shut up, call races, and we just kind of have some fun. But it's been a blast, man. Doughboy, appreciate the invite. Sten's always a pleasure talking to you, man. Good guy, Sten's, as far as I'm concerned. And I will catch you guys on the flip.
Yeah, see if I got over the 70 follower marker if people were trolling me now. Yeah, we got there. Let's fucking go. All All right,
Got it.
everyone.
Nice.
Goals met. Goals met.
Yeah, I gotta go put the next one up. Until next time, we'll see you.